Tonight on the Black Channel. Well, it sure has gotten quiet out there all of a sudden this week. Oh, did something happen? Has anything changed or occurred? It's just this eerie silence going on. Let's see if we can check around America and to see if there's any news on why it is things are a lot more quiet. Let's go out to Arizona.
We begin tonight with new developments in the U.S. immigration overhaul under President Trump, with deportation flights under the new administration now underway. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, Mark Curtis has the night off. Guatemalan officials say that they received 3 planes from the U.S.
Why does Mark have the night off? Mark has the night off all of a sudden. I hope he's not on one of those planes, or maybe he should be.
One of which came from Arizona. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono is live in studio with us. And Bianca, have these flights happened before?
Yeah, Caribe, deportation flights are not new. In fact, we have seen ICE flights fly right out of Mesa Gateway, but typically we see charter or commercial planes being used. Now, military planes are conducting these operations. Promises made, promises kept, wrote the chief patrol agent of Border Patrol's Tucson sector, referring to a deportation flight that left from Tucson International Airport Thursday night. Unlike previous deportation flights out of Arizona, which have used charter or commercial planes, a U.S. military C-17 plane was used. It flew to Guatemala, carrying 80 illegal immigrants.
Oh, they're using military transport planes. I guess we can call this illegal airlines.
Was used. It flew to Guatemala, carrying 80 illegal immigrants.
We're getting the bad, hard criminals out. These are murderers. These are people that have been as bad as you get.
CBP officials not yet providing details about who exactly those 80 people on board were. And it wasn't the only flight. Guatemalan officials say there were 2 additional deportation flights into their country, providing video and photos from their reception, totaling about 265 people. According to the Guatemalan Migration Institute, on one of the flights from Texas, there were 31 women, 48 men, and 1 unaccompanied minor. Officials say they provided them all with food, clothing, and shelter. NBC News reporting an additional flight was supposed to land in Mexico, but Mexican officials denied the U.S. military plane access, despite...
So countries are saying they don't want the planes to land, so they let their people cross the border and then say they don't want them back? What kind of wonderful citizens are they sending over here, if that's the case?
It was supposed to land in Mexico, but Mexican officials denied the U.S. military plane access. Despite the refusal, the country has been preparing for possible mass deportations in the U.S., launching a campaign for Mexican nationals called Mexico Embraces You. On Tuesday, 12 News getting...
Mexico embraces you. The same Mexico that you just said doesn't want the planes to land. Mexico embraces you so long as you're in Texas.
A first look at one of the many migrant shelters being prepared south of the border. This one at a sporting complex in Nogales, Sonora, equipped to assist close to 3,000 people.
And CBP officials... a little bit more than that right there. Let me tell you, you're going to need a little bit more than that. All right, just in case you thought that was the end of it. Oh, no. On up the street in Chicago. Take a look at the headlines here on News Nation. Chicago neighborhood turned ghost town amid deportations. A neighborhood is turned into a ghost town in Chicago because of deportations? What? How is that possible? I need details.
Promises made, promises kept with President Trump.
Oh boy, that's becoming a bit of a motif around here, isn't it?
Promises made, promises kept with President Trump taking immediate action on his top campaign focus, fighting illegal immigration. From coast to coast, ICE agents going city to city, sometimes door to door, tracking down the nearly 1.5 million undocumented set for deportation. And as ICE closes in on migrants, once vibrant Chicago neighborhoods are now turning into ghost towns. And tonight we are taking you to a neighborhood that has gone silent.
Take a look at the terms they're using. A once vibrant Chicago neighborhood is going silent. Excuse me? Didn't they just take millions and millions of dollars from the black folk in Chicago and she's concerned about a once vibrant neighborhood? Really? Well, and no wonder the old media is dead.
Like I said from day one, no one's off the table.
The Trump administration setting out to execute what it has promised.
We arrested 1,300 people. Over 1,000 of them were criminals.
Immigration and customs enforcement operations reportedly underway in jurisdictions all across the nation. Federal agents have been spotted in many sanctuary cities carrying out these operations.
I hope the sanctuary cities come around.
The usually bustling and vibrant streets of this Hispanic neighborhood in Chicago sit relatively empty because of the concerns over ICE.
Welcome to Mesquite Restaurant, sir.
This little taqueria, like most in the Pilsen neighborhood, is owned in...
Okay, I'm going to want my Chicago folk to call me up and give me the 411 on this neighborhood. When I open up the Zoom, I'm going to want my Chicago folk to call me up and give me the 411 on that neighborhood and let me know what the lowdown is, because News Nation has sent their suspect reporter out there, and he thinks this is great to have illegals all over the place. So I'm going to have y'all call me up in a little bit and give me the lowdown on exactly how great it is over there and how wonderful it is over there, so we can get some details on the ground.
Operated by immigrants. The Cruz family, who in 1994 made the long journey from Mexico City to Chicago to grow their little taco stand into a thriving restaurant.
We got tacos, we got breakfast, chilaquiles.
This American dream is one thousands of migrants are striving for when they cross the southern border. But the drastic shutdown of illegal immigration is a campaign promise the majority of American voters are expecting Donald Trump to make good on.
Honest to you, when he come back again, I was like, man, I feel scared.
What are you scared about, dude? I thought y'all are wonderful people here. First thing about being a good citizen is being law-abiding, isn't it? They always tell us. So I'm kind of scared. What are you scared for?
Honest to you, when he come back again, I was like, man, I feel scared.
President Trump, border czar Tom Homan, and the highest-ranking members of Immigration and Customs Enforcement say they're only targeting violent criminals during these initial deportations. News Nation has seen what these operations look like. I rode along and conducted early morning raids with ICE agents when they arrested men from Iraq and Belize, convicted criminals who spent prison time for robbery and gun charges.
I'm not a criminal. I'm a good guy. I pay my taxes. I do everything right. You know what's going to happen?
I do everything right except how I came into the country. Now, I don't have to do that right. I do everything right except when I broke the law and broke into the country. And now I'm taking everything I can grab. I do everything right except for that part.
And to me, they're going to grab me too. You know? They're not going to...
Convicted.
I'm not a criminal. I'm a good guy. I pay my taxes. I do everything right. You know what's going to happen to me? They're going to grab me too. You know? They're not going to check right now.
We've seen examples of resistance throughout Hispanic neighborhoods, including these signs instructing immigrant men and women to push back and block federal agents from entering their homes. But the reality is, new polling shows 65% of Americans strongly support deporting immigrants convicted of violent crimes. That includes Horacio Aguilera, an Iraq war veteran and Mexican-American police officer. He voted for Trump and wants mass deportations of criminals to carry on as quickly as possible.
A lot of Hispanic Americans, there was also a rise that voted for Trump. I think 9 out of 10 people that are living here in America, Chicago, Illinois, are going to agree that if you're an illegal resident and you are arrested for committing a crime, prosecuted for committing a crime, and you are an illegal resident, you are subject to deportation.
The so-called mass deportations,
well, that didn't take very long now, did it?
Have not been carried out in Chicago like people once believed. But that hasn't stopped local and state leaders from
Okay, first of all, it's only been like 5 days. That's the first thing. It hasn't happened like we believed. Dude, it isn't even a week old yet.
sounding the alarm and strengthening local codes which reinforce the city's sanctuary status.
We should stand up for them. That is the...
Oh, look, Governor Pritzker there, who, of course, he wants as many illegals as possible for his hotel chain. So no conflict of interest here that requires investigation for criminal prosecution. Nothing at all here.
The right thing to do, but he's trying to tear things down.
He's the literal definition of a fat cat. I mean, he is literally a fat cat up here telling, forget the damn laws. Make sure me and my family stay flush. We don't give a damn what's illegal or not. I'm white and I say so.
Governor, what's your response to people who might say that Democrats are the one sowing chaos, confusion, and fear-mongering when talking about mass deportations that haven't even happened in Chicago?
What are you talking about? They are literally threatening people all across the country. How can you say that we're overreacting somehow? We're not.
Well, he say, I need to keep my housekeepers so I can stay big and obese. All right, so he's up to that there. But, you know, we have to go back here. I mean, Mexico is not wanting to take its citizens back, and that's been something that folks have been talking about here. So, folks have been talking about that, hey, you're going to try to fly these people back to their country of origin, and what if the countries just don't take them back? Then you just go ahead and leave them here so we can carry on Why Didn't I Say So. As a matter of fact, Martha Raddatz, who loves Tren de Aragua, taking over apartment complexes in Colorado, she obviously likes that, just where other folk are, just not in her neighborhood in Martha's Vineyard. She doesn't want you there. Well, she was talking to Tom Homan. The border czar, and she asked him, well, what if they don't take the people back? Then what will you do? So she's just hoping against hope. What if everybody just ignores you and ignores the law, then what? Okay, this is how far you all are stooping, really? Do you really want to make this an arms race between who can ignore the most laws? I don't think that's very wise, ma'am. Well, this is how the exchange went.
What should people do who are seeking asylum? How do you do it?
Go to the embassy, go to port of entry. Do it the legal way. You shouldn't come to this country and ask to get asylum, and the first thing you do is break our laws by entering illegally.
So tell me what the definition of success is over the next 6 months, over the next year.
President Trump, 48 hours make that happen. President Trump's going to put America first. And if it doesn't, then we'll place my third safe country. That's the money we need.
Okay, wrong mark. I was on there. I'm going to come back to that, but this is the part we were talking about.
To secure that border.
Let's talk about those flights again. With the host countries, you flew all of those people back. Were all of the people arrested on the first day, for instance, repatriated? And what about those countries that won't take them back?
Oh, they'll take them back.
What do you mean by that?
We got President Trump coming to power. President Trump puts America first. Mexico didn't want to remain in Mexico program. Under the first administration, they did it. They didn't want to put military on the southern border. They did it.
How do you convince them?
El Salvador didn't want to take MS-13 members back. Took President Trump 48 hours to make that happen. President Trump's going to put America first. And if it doesn't, then we'll place my third safe country.
All appointments through the CBP app.
Okay, so she's hoping against hope. What if they just don't accept them back? So he's saying, okay, well, all right. Wait. Everyone, hold on a second here. Oh, we have breaking news. The president of Colombia stated that, he doesn't want them to come back here, as a matter of fact. He is determined that they should not be coming back to Colombia. So he's very determined to make sure that does not occur. So, yeah, folks, the president of Colombia said, no, not in my country. We're not going to have any of that going on. So, oh, man. Let me see if I can take a look into that and see if I can find out a little bit more information here. Okay, I think I've got something here. Yes, breaking news is not just breaking, it's breaking up here. Yes, let's see what that turns out to be here.
We are following breaking news at this hour here on Live Now from Fox. You're taking a live look at the White House as we have learned that President Trump is now ordering action to be taken against the country of Colombia, saying, quote, I was just informed that two repatriation flights from the United States with a large number of illegal criminals were not allowed to land in Colombia. This order was given by Colombia's socialist president, who is already very unpopular amongst his people. His denial of these flights has jeopardized the national security and public safety of the United States. So I have directed my administration to immediately take the following urgent and decisive retaliatory measures. And he also just shared that information in a social media post. Some of those measures include an emergency 25% tariffs on all goods coming into the United States. In 1 week, the 25% tariffs will be raised to 50%. What? Also issuing a travel information in a social media post. Some of those measures include an emergency 25% tariffs on all goods coming into the United States. In 1 week, the 25% tariffs will be raised to 50%. Also issuing a travel ban and immediate visa revocations on the Colombian government officials and all allies and supporters. Visa sanctions on all party members, family members, and supporters of the Colombian government. Enhanced customs and border protection inspections of all Colombian nationals and cargo on national security grounds. Treasury, banking, and financial sanctions to be fully imposed. President Trump saying, quote, "These measures are just the beginning. We will not allow the Colombian government to violate its legal obligations with regard to the acceptance and return of the criminals they forced into the United States."
Well, all right, Martha Raddatz asked a question. Well, fool around and find out is basically the headline of this article here. So Colombia said, we're not taking back all the criminals that we send up there to you. We're not going to take any of them back. We're cool on that. And so they just said, okay, well, let's try this a different way. And yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Wait. Hold on a minute, folks. Breaking news again. As a matter of fact, there's more breaking news that just came through. So Trump says he's sending in planes. The Colombian president says, no, you're not. We won't let them land. Trump said we're going to drop 25% tariffs and then 50% tariffs on you. Now there's more breaking news.
About a big issue that has been happening really within the last 12 hours right now with the pressure of President Trump putting on the Colombian leader. And it seems like the Colombian president has already caved to President Trump's threats here. So let's bring in a very special guest here on Live Now from Fox to help break it down. Hal Kemper, national security expert. Thank you so much for being with us here. We always appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
All right, so let's talk about this, Hal. It seems like this was all done within a round of golf here for President Trump, who is enjoying this Sunday golfing as he normally does. But it seems like we already got a conclusion to this whole ordeal with taking back the migrants.
Mike, if they were playing a round of golf, I'd say they were playing 9 holes. This went really fast. This was basically part of it was a little slower. Part of the President Trump's deportation program is sending flights down to Latin America. He's got flights going into Guatemala. There's a site there where they're flying a lot of aliens into, and then also, and I think the Guatemala isn't just Guatemalan aliens are actually, or I should say Guatemalan citizens are actually flying some others from Central America and possibly even Mexico down there. And then they're sending flights to down to Colombia and other places. But the interesting thing is that they've been using military flights. Of course, the military is very responsive. They can get the military stuff set up very quickly, and they did. And Colombia's president took great exception with that. Gustavo Petro, he's more of what's considered a left-wing socialist politician in Latin American politics. And I'm not just saying that. He describes himself as a socialist as well. And so he kind of pushed back. He says, hey, this is not dignified. I don't want military flights down here with Colombian citizens coming down from the United States.
This guy's a bit long-winded, so they put him on TV and let him talk too much. But anyway, you can see from the title down there at the bottom, the Colombian president says the presidential plane will be used for deportations after Trump threats. So yeah, first he said, y'all ain't gonna land. Trump said, here, hold this 50% tariff. He said, well, maybe I can send my own plane to come get folks. So within a matter of a few hours, he done got some act right. So, hey, Martha Raddatz, yeah, baby, are you hoping against hope? Maybe the other governments will push back, as Holman tried to tell you. Oh, they're going to take them. What did Holman say? Yeah, they're going to. What if they don't take them? He's like, they're going to take them.
Let's talk about those flights again. with the host countries. You flew all of those people back. Were all of the people arrested on the first day, for instance, repatriated? And what about those countries that won't take them back?
Oh, they'll take them back.
What do you mean by that?
He means this. This is what he means. He means this part right here. Oh, they gonna take them back. He's like, oh, believe it. He said, I done talk me and Trump on the same page. They gonna take them back. Oh, you gonna take them right back. Yes, you will. Okay, well, that went quickly. That went real damn fast right there, now didn't it? So, whole lot is happening right now. It is happening incredibly fast. It is happening incredibly quickly. It is hard to be able to keep up with this stuff right now, but you know, it's one of those things. I've been looking over stuff here, as a matter of fact. I've been looking over it and going over some of the images I've seen so we can try to soak in the events as they've unfolded.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, so in honor of the folks right now who are becoming global travelers, I've decided we're going to go ahead and give them a new celebratory tune here. Oh, let me get this copyright strike right quick. It'll be worth it tonight. All right, everybody, you know the lyrics. Sing along now. Not at all. Everybody in the back now. Hard times, hard life. All right, everybody here. Let's go ahead and do it a cappella. Manuel, Maria, Juan, Jose, Tijuana, Cancun. Yes, sir. That was a golden oldie there. So, yeah, what a damn difference a week can make. So, we are putting on the hits tonight here on the Black Channel. And, yes, things have just gotten started. So, just in case you all thought it was minor, folks are feeling the heat. Places are turned into ghost towns. You had a few folks talking about, well, what's going to happen for the crops, who's going to pick them, and who's going to pick the crops. What can we do for that? We need help with that, don't we? Who's going to take care of all that? And it's like, okay, the only thing that's missing right now is, shouldn't there be some white men getting arrested? Shouldn't that be happening? Because, yeah, that's really not occurring now, is it? You know, the folks who are setting up the draw that's bringing people here, by the way, why is it that we don't have them in handcuffs too? When you think about it, shouldn't they be first in line? I mean, they really, really should be when you think about it. So, just thought that was one part of the equation that had been left out. So, not that I forgot about it, I just thought, by the way, that's one part of the equation that has been neglected. So, the new year, the new week, the new administration, everything is off to a very, very quick, very, very fast start here. And it is quiet on the Western Front. There's a whole bunch of folks who thought and claimed upside down and down the other, what wasn't going to happen and what wasn't going to occur and what they didn't need to worry about. And, it wasn't going to be an issue. Wasn't going to be anything like that. Now be damned. That escalated damn quick now, didn't it? That escalated damn quick. Now, for us over here, we chilling. We are chilling. We are sitting back. We are cruising. We are on straight cruise control. No issues over here. Some of these other folks out there and whatnot, it's a little bit of a different environment, but for us over here, we're doing good. We are doing good. It is exactly what we were expecting. It was exactly what we foretold. And this is a lesson to Democrats or anybody else out there that, by the way, I remember 4 years ago when a very defiant Joe Biden, after the black vote had put him in office and he directly thanked the black vote in Georgia. I remember a very defiant, very ignorant, very arrogant Joe Biden saying, you know, what really needs to happen is the black vote needs to get behind the Hispanics. That's what you need to do. And I was like, oh, really? That's right. The black vote, you need to get behind the Hispanics. That's what needs to happen. Y'all don't need to be worrying about getting first on you just get behind them, and whatever they doing, you need to fall in line. And it was like, oh, really? Oh, really? Okay. Interesting. So we all said, okay, we gonna remember that one. We'll remember that. We sure will. And 4 years later, he tried to bring his rickety ass back again. He got run through the ringer at the debate. It was all over. He's like, hey, black folk, can you come save me? Can't save nothing for you. Can't do a damn thing for you except watch you sink and drown. Kamala Harris tried to, hey, boo. Didn't work any better for her either. So it's like, yeah, dude, when you write checks, your ass can't cash. And then he got up and realized, I'll be damned, fat meat is not just greasy, it is dripping. It is dripping all over the damn place. Now, I want you all to be aware, when I said about who the real villains are in this story and whatnot, there's a point I want to make here for you. They're the real villains here. And by the way, CBS, fair use. Fair use, because I want to introduce you all to another round of the real villains in this story. The folk that we are not doing enough to deal with here because they are the real problem.
Tonight, many of America's farmers already feeling the pinch are worried about the possibility of more challenges. That's because President Trump is threatening to deport millions of undocumented immigrants, creating uncertainty about the future of the workforce.
It takes a lot of hands to hand harvest fruits and vegetables.
Talk to any farmer and they'll tell you it's difficult work.
This is a 24-hour job, so I need people who are willing to work in shifts at different times of the day.
But it's hard to find those people.
Yeah.
American
lies. Lie. They've always lied. Take a look at what they're not paying them, not doing them. So it's never been about that. Never, never even once. These are liars.
Farms are on the decline. There was a 7% drop in farms from 2017 to 2022, according to the USDA. That's about 142,000 fewer farms in just 5 years. These days, farmers are up against bird flu outbreaks, higher costs for feed and fertilizer, and climate change. But their livelihoods depend on a reliable workforce. And now they're concerned about how President Trump's campaign promise to launch the largest deportation effort in American history will play out. About 2/3 of crop workers are foreign-born. And while many come to the U.S. who are seasonal jobs legally through H-2A visas, the USDA estimates that 42% of crop laborers are undocumented.
Okay, so 42% of crop workers, and that's not across the entire economy of all industries, just in agriculture for, quote, crop workers, 42% are illegals. That means that there is zero chance that the people employing them do not know this. They recruited them, as I've told you all before, working hand in hand with the Mexican cartels and the South American cartels and the Mexican coyotes. There is a direct line of communication and a direct pipeline. They can pick up the phone and call Manuel down there in Tijuana and in the cartels and tell them, I want a bunch of workers for this. And they work in the United States. You have white men owning farms, and in some cases corporations owning farms who work hand in hand with the Mexican cartels. And yet the Department of Justice, so-called justice, is not treating them as RICO. And if Jason Black knows this and can prove this, then how the hell can the FBI and the DOJ don't know this and can't prove this? Oh, wait a minute. They do know. But this would require a mass roundup of white men. And it wouldn't be 1 million of them either. It'd be a few thousand. Why don't you do like everybody else? Take their land, take everything else. That would work.
New Jersey farmer Kurt Alstead says his workers are all legally authorized, but he's watching closely to see what Trump does next.
When we talk about the ripple effects of a potential mass deportation, labor is already hard enough to find as is. Could it be even more difficult to find across the board if that does happen?
Well, there's no question in the United States we have a shrinking workforce. Anything that happens from a policy standpoint that reduces people in our workforce is going to make it very difficult for industry, and certainly for agriculture. We would be in big trouble if we lost workforce.
The labor union.
Oh man, the illegals are out here marching. Is that what's going on? Really?
Workforce.
The labor union, United Farm Workers, has already seen an uptick in migrants asking for help.
The threats are scary, but at the same time, farm workers more than anyone understand the reality that without them, this work is not going to get done.
And few
lies, garbage, nonsense. Yes, it will. It'll just have to get done at a proper market rate. And the white men who own these huge farms and businesses will not be able to get their 5th illegal alien trophy wife side chick mistress and go off to Epstein Island. That's what won't be able to happen. They'll have to cut into them profits a little bit, so they won't be able to take their 7th trip to Epstein Island this year. They're going to have to cut back to 6 trips to Epstein Island.
For workers could mean less homegrown produce.
Now here comes the reporter for CBS, straight with the scare tactics. She jumps right into it. Unfortunately for her, the woman that she talks to doesn't even really help assist her with the justification of her scare tactics. That without the illegals, prices will skyrocket. First of all, prices have already skyrocketed in the last 4 years. What about that? Well, it'll skyrocket more. The guest she talks to actually doesn't help her to make her case.
But at the same time, farm workers more than anyone understand the reality that without them, this work is not going to get done.
And fewer workers could mean less homegrown produce, according to University of Montana economist Diane Charlton.
But will consumers see higher prices if there are these mass deportations?
Maybe to a certain extent, consumers might not see a really big impact in the grocery stores.
Oh, well, that didn't work out for you at all, did it, ma'am? She threw up a softball. Hey, here's a peewee ball. Here, just knock it out of the park for me, please. And, consumers might not notice anything. Really? Well, why don't we just load all the asses up then? As I said, she called in somebody for some backup, and they didn't really help her case.
Economist Diane Charlton.
But will consumers see higher prices if there are these mass deportations?
Maybe to a certain extent, consumers might not see a really big impact in the grocery stores, but there will be less domestically grown fruits and vegetables.
Does that mean more farms could go belly up?
Definitely.
It's still unclear exactly how Trump's mass deportation plan would affect farm workers.
Well, we know exactly how it would affect it. You just had an economist just tell us, you probably won't see very much at all. You'll see something. Okay, we've already seen plenty in the last 4 damn years. Well, you might see a little bit more. Okay, that's par for the course. And so, in other words, you've given absolutely no reason whatsoever that we shouldn't just go ahead and load up illegal air. Let's just go ahead and get them all up on there while we at this. Planes, trains, buses, every piece of machinery and cargo, here we go. This is not quite what you expected on Delta. Not quite what you were expecting there. But we got a seat for you. We got a seat for you. It'll take you a whole lot less time to get back to Guatemala than it did to get up here. And for those of you who are not aware, even at the border, they are now shrieking. They're telling their folks down there at the border, by the way, just turn back around. They flying folk out left and right. So ain't letting anybody turn them back. Ain't no reason to even come across the border now. Turn them back around. Just turn back around. Just happened that damn quick. Now, you got to understand, there's going to be some hard heads. There's going to be some hard heads like that mayor in New Jersey. You can take a look at his name and see why he's a problem. Brandon Johnson in Chicago, who is just another Negro shill. You can see big old fat Pritzker has his great big fat meaty palms up Brandon's back, working his mouth like a puppet. So you can see that there, but things are already shifting. If nothing else, it shows you what national policy is. Now, let me go ahead and give you my 30,000 foot view on it. Are you going to see mass deportations to the scale of which they allow people in? Probably not, because it's a whole lot easier to just let folk run over the border than it is to go play catch up and go grab them one by one in places. So I don't think you're going to see mass deportations in that manner. I don't think that's going to be able to occur. How, not in the short term, but over the course of a decade, yeah, you could. If you keep this policy in place over the course of a decade, then yeah, you will be able to get most of them if you keep this policy in place for the course of a decade. Over the course of 2 or 3 years, not really. You might get the criminal element, the worst of the criminal element out, but you would really need to greatly expand ICE, now they're deputizing people. They're going to be deputizing folk at the state and local level to help, but you're really going to need a lot more. If you really want to stop this, it doesn't take that. Go arrest the white men employing them. They're over there to get money. Go arrest the white men who are employing them, or any of these illegal alien businesses employing them. That's the draw right there. You bull jiving and playing games. If you go and hit up their businesses, here we go. Let me explain something to you all right now. The government already has the powers that it needs. The regulations are already in place. For example, my truck drivers. For my truck drivers, it's already legal for the police or state troopers. It doesn't matter where you're from. You can be a resident of Michigan. If you drive through Alabama, the state police can pull your 18-wheeler over and say, hey, we need to check your books. We need to check your logs. We need to check your books and check your logs, see how long you've been driving. You do realize that, right? I mean, if you're a CDL driver, you're an 18-wheeler driver, the state police can pull you over now at random and just say, hey, we need to check your books. We need to check your books. Not at the way stations at the state lines, people. I'm not talking about there. I'm just talking about if they find you anywhere on the freeway, side of the road, whatever, he can pull up behind you, hit the lights, and okay, we checking books. Paperwork check. Paperwork check. On the spot. Now, you might suspect you're being racially profiled. You might suspect it, but there's really nothing you can say that will get you out of having to show your books. Now, you can deal with the possible racial profiling thing later, and you'll have to. But you can't say, you pulled me over because I'm black, and I'm not going to show you my books. You need a search warrant. No, he doesn't. He's got DOT regulation. It is what it is. Well, all these folk employing these illegals, I just explained it to you. They got the powers to come up to them. Paperwork check. Everybody line up. Documentation, paperwork check. Get their employer. Let's see your check. Let's check your paperwork. Let's see if you got the documentation, the authorization for all them. Paperwork check. So they already have the powers to do it. They already have the authority to do it. But what it would require is the arresting of a lot of white men in Florida. Damn! So Ron DeSantis, I've been taking him to task for the longest time here. The faux Latino thing runs out when you start talking about, by the way, why are you not arresting all these white men who own the farms in Florida? We already did that program last year. So you don't really need to go chasing folk around. You go grab the employers, you arrest them, seize their property like you do with black men. You do the white men the way you do black men. Next thing you know, you don't have to chase millions of folks around. They're going to have to turn around on their damn own. They're going to have to turn around on their damn own. So if the policy was we go after the source, if that was the policy, it would be different. So please don't get it twisted. These are white men playing games with other white men. Everybody knows, go arrest the farmers, go arrest the meat plant packing folks. Go arrest them. You go get them, you go do the paperwork check, and that's it. You don't have to get millions. That's going to be just thousands. The number of illegals they've arrested in the last week, that would be enough to clean this whole damn system up. A bunch of white men getting marched out and put in handcuffs and mugshotted and take their property from them. Because when the feds crack down on you, it's going to cost you $1 million to fight a Fed case. And they won't win it. It'll cost you $1 million to fight a Fed case. That'll be the damn end of that. So please don't be deceived about what's happening. Please don't be deceived about what's happening or how it's going. Not at all. Not at all. But this has definitely got some folks shook. This has definitely got folks shook up. What we do know now is that if ICE shows up and you're an illegal, ain't gonna be none of them backing off of you. That guy's over there illegal. He's already committed a crime by being in the country. So now the policy is if you are an illegal, they're not going to just turn around and leave. So there's the real game changer. The real game changer now is if you're an illegal, they're not going to just get up and leave. So it's like, get your ass on over here. Got the kids with you. Bring them too. We don't leave them alone. So come on over here. And by the way, the most damning part is, by the way, hey, Mexico, you don't want your folks back? Colombia, you don't want your citizens back? Guatemala, what's going on with you all that you don't want your citizens back? I mean, aren't you supposed to take care of your citizenry? And they're saying, nope, we don't want them back. What's going on there, man? That's real damn weird. That you had no problem with them leaving and they're not supposed to be in America and you're saying, oh, we don't want to take them back. Sounds like somebody is waging some type of warfare. That's what it sounds like to me. Sounds like somebody is waging what they consider to be some type of warfare. Okay. But if you're going to give the white men who employ them in America a pass for doing it, well, then you're aiding and abetting it. You're aiding and abetting it. So it's going to be a real interesting time seeing how things come down and fall down. If anybody was thinking that it was going to be a gravy train, oh boy, it ain't. You're already seeing folks shook up. You're already seeing people clearing out. You're already seeing Chicago. They're talking about it's turned into a ghost town over there. They're already talking about that. Damn, it's rough on them. Damn, it's rough on them. It really, really is. They're telling you the place done turned into a ghost town. Well, all right. Should have seen that coming. Should have seen that coming. What about the Democrats, by the way? What about the Democrats? Does anybody heard about what's going on with them? Is there anything happening with them? What's happening? Well, I can tell you what's happening over there, other than being generally useless and squealing and not getting very much done. The Washington Post put up an article today, which I think is very, very telling. I think it's very, very telling. I think it's very, very telling in the fact that, boy, if defeatist was an attitude, that's what the hell it would be. They don't know what to do with them. The Democrats were supposed to be using this time to regroup and become more powerful. And you've witnessed the exact opposite happen, even though there is a power vacuum going on right now. There's a power vacuum happening right now, but they don't have the ability to capitalize on it. They don't have the ability to capitalize on it because nobody's really leading. They don't really have a core. They don't really know what they're doing. They don't really know where the hell they're going. I want to show you just one article here from the Washington Post, but I want to show you what they said on Twitter. Before I get to the article itself, this is what you can see on Twitter from the folks on Twitter watching the Washington Post tweet about this. Analysis by Aaron Blake. There's a vacuum atop an adrift Democratic Party. Here's who could fill it. Now, let's jump down to the comments. They ran their two best leaders out, RFK and Tulsi. Bench is empty. This guy here, for those who haven't read the article, it's a terrible list. There are 3 potentially viable candidates there, and the rest don't have a prayer. I'm rather surprised that Mr. Blake doesn't recognize that, particularly after this last election. I don't need to click to tell you that the list is no good. The person the Democrats need has not yet presented themselves. Going to take a lot of guts, and it's going to take someone willing to go right at their corrupt party leadership like Trump did to the GOP. Like him or not, Trump saw the party establishment. He saw the old fat cat bosses, and he knocked them off. And Mitch McConnell can only be a bystander, and you don't have anybody among the Democrats who's really ready to do that. And you don't. But then again, we could be wrong, so why don't we go ahead and take a look at the article itself here and see exactly who it is that they're saying it could be. All right, the Democrats' first name on the list that he trots out here is Tim Walz. What? The first name that this guy throws out is Tim Walz. Number 12. The Democrats' 2024 vice presidential nominee wasn't unpopular. Okay. Folks, the first step to recovering is admitting you have a problem. And the first step with dealing with reality is admitting that you're not in it. Yeah. Tim Walz wasn't unpopular. Okay. He wasn't unpopular at your house, Mr. Blake. Tim Walz was a rock star at your house. In the rest of the country, however, remember he tried his alpha male routine? Tim Walz was going to show us all what real Coach Walz. Folks, the amount of cringe in 2024 and how out of touch with reality the gluten-free yoga class set is over there in the media. He really didn't live up to the early hype or pack as much appeal to rural voters as Democrats would have hoped. He seemed more comfortable auditioning for the VP pick than actually serving as a running mate, and his debate performance was not great. He's on the map, but it's hard to see Democrats thinking he's the answer. He's also talking about running for a third term as governor, even as tough political times loom in Minnesota. So all I can imagine is Mr. Blake was told is Sunday you got to write an article, so do your best. Next up is Josh Stein. Now, this is going to be something that becomes familiar here. So I'm not sure about Mr. Blake's lineage, but this is something that will become familiar. Imagine this: a Jewish former state attorney general named Josh S. is swept into office as governor of a swing state, winning a large margin thanks in part to a flawed GOP opponent. Josh Shapiro is clearly more of an option for Democrats right now, but the North Carolina governor was a very popular candidate in his own right, even winning over many Trump supporters. He'll have a re-election campaign in 2028, but he seems to be the brightest star of Democrats' 2024 governor class. Really? What about Wes Moore? Okay, so the writer of this article points out, first of all, the guy is Jewish, so okay. And then goes on to Bashir, so alrighty then. Number 10, Andy Bashir. We've seen this story before. A candidate wins in a state that is much more aligned with the other party, and suddenly their stock is sky high. But it's hard to sustain that and be a national figure for years on end, given that the battles at home often pull you away from the base. Clearly, the best thing for Bashir would have been being chosen as Harris's running mate, having them win, and getting his foot in the door at the White House. Okay. Next up, number 9, somebody who shouldn't be even on the damn list. Gavin Newsom. You want to talk about a shallow bench, people? If you're bringing up the name Gavin Newsom, you're just fooling yourself now. The California governor's stock could drop.
Nigga, please.
Who the hell is Jeff Bezos paying to write these damn articles? Jeff Bezos just has entirely too much damn money. Just too much. He can pay to have silly, stupid stuff printed. He's paying these people. Have you watched the damn news in the last 2? The California governor's stock could drop amid wildfires that have proved a nightmare for state and local officials. He's a gifted messenger and clearly ambitious, but it's doubtful Democrats will think a slick Californian is the answer to the ground they lost in 2024 on cultural issues. Well, then you just admitted his stock has fallen off the damn map. What the hell? Next up, Raphael Warnock. Okay, so California couldn't get the job done. Let's go to the moist side of Atlanta. The senator from Georgia has finally had some time to settle into the Senate after having to run in 2020 and 2022, and freshman senators usually take some time to ease into national politics, which is probably healthy for Warnock, given he had never held office before. Because of his talents and electoral track record in a tough state, plenty of politicos will be looking at how he brands himself moving forward. Still, Warnock does face re-election in 2028, and Democrats might want him to try to hold a tough seat instead. Why anybody would even name him? Dude, this isn't even legit. Next up is Wes Moore, or as I like to say, less is more. For those of you who didn't get a hold of that one. The Maryland governor, who was elected in 2022, is playing off any interest in 2028, and he doesn't have much of a national profile yet. The Barack Obama comparisons, who told you that months ago, and hype so far don't have much meat on the bone. Now, who else told you that? By the way, the Washington Post is just now saying this. I told you this weeks ago. Repeated again last week that, by the way, Wes Moore isn't nationally known, and the more he starts talking, the less popular he's most likely going to get. So, yeah, you can compare him to Obama, but actually, he hasn't said very much, and we all see what happened to Kamala Harris and Cory Booker when they finally had to go out and speak and actually address issues and tell people where they stand. He's certainly someone to keep an eye on who could take advantage of the vacuum. He could, but he won't. Ruben Gallego, oh boy, we'll just skip past that one. John Fetterman, we're going to skip past that one. No offense, John Fetterman had a stroke. John Fetterman is basically back in Trump at this point. So, okay, you're just throwing stuff against the wall. All right, number 4. Believe it or not, she's not even number 1 on his list. She's number 4. Kamala Harris. Her loss was a disappointment to her party, but it's not clear how much better Democrats could have done given the environment. It's very clear. Joe Biden was the Titanic, and she was the first mate. She wasn't an unpopular candidate. What? And this is the reason you all lost. Your complete denial of reality. This is why you lost, and this guy is going to evaluate who's going to fill the damn bench? Did you just hear what he just said? She wasn't an unpopular candidate. She literally lost the damn election. She literally got kicked out of the 2020 election and literally got her ass kicked in the 2024 election. And this guy told me she wasn't unpopular. She literally just lost the damn election, dude. This is the brain trust they have evaluating possible replacements, folks. Trump might as well get ready to run again in 2028. At this point, these folks can't even stop him in court now. If these are the folks who have to stop him, he might as well just go ahead and run again. Just rename the White House Mar-a-Lago North. And let's just be done with it. Save ourselves the stress of him going state to state. She wasn't an unpopular candidate. Fool, please. And she, in fact, overcame many early fears that she would be. But favorable numbers might not tell the whole story. What favorable numbers do? All right. And you could forgive Democrats for not wanting to line up behind her again. The big question now is whether she'll run for California governor in 2026, which would probably preclude a 2028 bid. So yeah, y'all, this is the brain trust they have at the Washington Post to tell you who's going to challenge Trump. Next up, now the person he puts ahead of her is Pete Buttigieg. What? Folks, you want to know why it is they're flying the illegals out fast and furious? I would not be very optimistic over there in illegal alien land when you take a look at who you got to possibly challenge anybody. The former transportation secretary is as gifted a surrogate as Democrats have and is studied at speaking to Trump voters, often on Fox News. How the hell did that work out, dude? How did that work out when he tried that? It wasn't like he was the damn Pied Piper and they loved him. What are you talking about? Folks, when you hire people at your news stations, at your newspapers, and you hire them to write damn me Lord of the Rings fiction, this is basically fan fiction that they're trying to pass off as political analysis. When you do this, no wonder you're gonna get your ass broken in the elections, when reality does not play along with this damn psychoses. If Democrats internalize the idea that they need someone who can take their message to all corners of the country, a common theme on this list, but also be comfortable with pretty much any subject matter, but makes a lot of sense. For now, keep an eye on whether he runs for Michigan governor in 2026. Ask Pete Buttigieg how he feels about transgenders, and then ask the guy at the Washington Post, by the way, dude, when was the last time you left your damn house? You think Pete Buttigieg is not going to upset people? Just ask him about biological boys going to girls' bathrooms. Just ask him that, and then it's over. Any one of you would be better suited to work for the Washington Post writing articles than this Blake guy. Number 2. Now, these are folks that he put ahead of Kamala Harris now. Gretchen Whitmer. The Michigan governor's stock probably suffered in the 2024 election, probably, through no fault of her own. Really? Given Democrats have now lost to Trump twice with the only 2 female nominees they've ever run, and some wondered whether sexism is to blame, so they got a male feminist writing, if you want to know why Trump is not worried right now and is just doing crazy things, you want to know why Elon Musk thinks he's got an open lane to wild out, because this is their damn folks, if you think the Republicans are bad, just take a look at the Democrats right now. For the folks who want me to talk about the Democrats, by the way, if you think the Republicans are bad right now, these are the Democrats. These are the Democrats. These are the Democrats' journalistic supporters. These are the Democrats. You want to know why Trump and friends over there are just wilding the hell out? This is why. Because they're like, have you seen our opposition? Ain't no competition. Some wondered whether sexism is to blame. It seems likely they'll be skittish about putting up another one for the foreseeable future, rightly or wrongly, but Whitmer's qualifications are also some of the most substantial on this list. And because she's term limited, she'll be out of a job come 2027. Okay, I don't think trying 2028 is a good idea either. Then last on their list is Josh Shapiro. So the guy who wrote this thing here, obviously he's interested in women and Jewish people. I guess he's figuring that was what was missing in 2024. And it's very slanted there, but obviously he's just out of touch with reality. The issue isn't that you didn't have enough women or you were anti-Semitic. The issue is y'all are looking like a bunch of sexual deviants who are unconcerned about real issues. And when the black vote came to you and said, hey, aren't we the backbone of the party? You're ignoring the backbone. And they rolled the dice to say, man, y'all niggas sit down. You gonna vote for us anyway. While they were real bold about it, remember? We don't have to do anything for you. You're gonna fall in line when the election comes. And then the election came and folks didn't fall in line. Folks didn't fall in line. Then they said, we don't have to do what you niggas say. We're going to get enough illegals and LGBT to replace you. 2 months later. Okay, well, I got some bad news for you, Jack. Yeah, about that illegal alien vote. Yeah, I got some bad news for you, Jack. Oh, you know, a woman to get you up to speed on what's happening over there right now. I know you had big plans for 2028. Yeah, I know you had some big plans in mind for 2028. That illegal alien vote gonna hold it up for us. You might wanna check the news right quick, Jack. Might want to check the news right quick, buddy. They rounding up your constituency. Oh, Governor Pritzker and Brandon Johnson up there sweating bullets. They're rounding up your constituency. Yeah, buddy, they're helping your constituency back across the border, so it's... Oh, man. So, boy, just in case you thought this was going to be an easy ride. And folks, this is just week one. Can you imagine what they'll be saying at the end of month number 1? What? And can you imagine what they'll be saying when they attempt to come to us? Have y'all noticed they haven't been shoving a microphone in our faces, asking us to come to the rescue? Did you notice that? Has anybody noticed that they haven't even tried to shove a microphone in our faces to ask us about what we gonna do and to ask us where we stand? Did y'all notice that? Hadn't been a bunch of black talking heads on TV for them to come running to the rescue and throwing the capes on. Isn't that interesting? Oh, because they don't speak for the masses. Oh, Joy Reid does not speak for the people. Michael Eric Dyson doesn't speak for the people. Roland the Bowling Ball Martin doesn't speak for the people. So they're not even bothering. All of your academics and interracial swirlers posing as activists, you're not shoving a microphone in their faces either, because y'all, the word has gotten around. We are no longer dependable to toe the party line and to carry the water. We're not dependable for it anymore. And they understand it. We're not dependable. They're not even bothering to try, which is why I told you before the election, they're blaming us and then they're moving on. They're scrambling around to try to figure out, well, how do we get you all? We need to get that support. The numbers ain't working. They're just not working. We had this fantasy that we could replace the black vote in 2024, and it fell apart. And when they say that they're trying to figure out who to put out there, what they mean, the reason why I went over that Washington Post article is I wanted you to understand when they're talking about who they're going to put out there. What they mean is that they're trying to figure out who they can put out there who is going to be able to galvanize the black vote. That's what they mean. They're looking for that person. Please understand why they're so panicking over here about getting another candidate, because they need the black vote. They watched it fall away. And as I told you from this very microphone a decade ago, I put you if you wanted to know why I was able to be so bullish on how the events were going to unfold over the last decade. I was the only person who had articulated to people over a decade ago that do not fall for the Democrats telling you about the so-called minority vote and the Hispanic vote, because I showed you Florida, Texas. When they get over here, the first generation is only liberal about the borders. They become Republican conservatives about everything else. When it's time to get their paper together, they all become Republican conservatives. Take a look at Texas. Take a look at Florida. Take a look at Georgia. So they're only liberal, quote, liberal about the border. Once they get across that border, they become Ted Cruz. Nobody else knew that at the time, which is why nobody either on the internet or broadcast media was pointing it out. I said it a decade ago. Donald Trump went to the White House. Everybody and their mama looking at me crazy. Jason, how'd you know that about Florida? They've been doing it now for decades. If you're listening to MSNBC tell you what Florida is, then you would have been hoodwinked too. And so now, when I told you in 2024, I said, that Hispanic vote is always going to split 50-50. The Hispanic vote is not going to fall reliably Democrat. You have a bunch of Catholics among Latinos from Mexico and South America. There are a lot of Catholics and a lot of poor folks who they really looking out for number one, which is why they don't give a damn about laws or borders. They looking out for number one. They're money motivated. They're economically motivated, which means that as soon as they get $2 to rub together, they don't give a damn about nobody behind them. Which is what I said a decade ago, which is what I said 6 years ago, and it's played out exactly the way I said. Yeah, they got over here, and you acting like you surprised they voted for Trump. I showed you some illegals who were supporting Trump. Couldn't vote for him, but they supported him. And I'm sitting here telling you, yeah, the Democrats' evil scheme, their diabolical scheme to, we're going to bring the illegals and they going to support us. I'm like, okay, the only thing they're going to do is work at your hotels for a minute. And then when they want to boost the damn minimum wage, and then that's it. They're going to become Republicans. They're going to become conservatives. The Latino vote is going to split 50-50. That's what you're going to end up with. So you're not going to be changing the dynamic. You're just going to be diluting it for a little bit, and then it's going to settle, and it's going to be 50-50 all over again. You're not changing the status quo. You're just raising the level of it. You're just raising the level of the status quo. That's all. And the 2024 election bore me out exactly the way I said. So what does it come down to again? You need a solid block of voters who are going to vote lopsided for you. And that black vote is the only one that has consistently done that and has the numbers to do it. But what happened in Georgia this time? We already went over the states. I already went over the states after the election. They were the states that I told you that Obama won and Biden lost this time. And who was responsible for those states? The black vote. Obama had the Carolinas. What happened this damn time? James Clyburn, the black vote, delivered that in 2008. What the hell happened in 2024? We got up and left. Oh, we're still there. We're just not going to be at the polls. And those new Latinos you brought in broke 50-50. Just like I said they would. They broke 50-50. So the black vote costs you the election. Remember, I had said that Kamala Harris lost the black vote. The black vote lost you the election, and it will continue to lose you those until you accept the reality that, yeah, you gonna have to cut the check because the bill is due. And this is the issue we're voting on. We're not talking about segregation. We're not talking about integration. We're not talking about education. We're not talking about any of those diversionary, distracting issues you all keep throwing up. We're not interested in any of that. That's not on the table. And we're getting up and walking off if you try to bring it up. We told you what the deal was. And 2024 is just a preview of coming attractions. So they don't want to ask us what we think about these things because they already know where we stand. They know we've never backed illegals like that. They already know this. They were hoping they could hoodwink us. What they were going to do is that if they were able to squeak by in the election, I told y'all, if the Democrats had been able to squeak by in the election, they would have come back and sworn that black folk were in favor of all this. Why black folk love illegals. Why black folk love, they love illegals and men in the girls' bathrooms. They love all that. That's what they were going to say. If they had won by 3 votes, they were going to say black folk love it. They got their asses broken open, and now they're like, who hell, we can't even pretend that they love it. So now they're trying to figure out who the hell we gonna get to come speak to them. We need somebody who can go talk to them. What they're having to concede is that they don't have it. So we used to call it the pain train. I guess now we'll call it the pain plane. Yes, sir. That is the sound of voter realignment. Yes, that is the sound of a reorganization of your constituency. That's what that is. That is the sound of the 2028 election getting away from you. Yeah, that's the sound of the 2026 and 2028 election getting away from you. Yes, sir. That's the sound of the 2026 and 2028 election. Ain't gonna be as easy as you told yourself it was gonna be. That's what that sound is right there. That's what that is. However, you might disagree. Therefore, we're going to go ahead and open up the Zoom for you all to go ahead and give us a call. We'll open up the Zoom for you all to go ahead and give us a call. I know we're dealing with a lot tonight. I know we've been hitting it hard and heavy. I know a lot has been going on here. Try to throw out as much as I can as possible so we can get things going. But we're going to go ahead and get to the Zoom so you all can weigh in. For my folks in Chicago, Pilsen, I want to get some background on that and find out what the deal is for my people who are there. So I'm interested in getting some more information about that neighborhood. I want to get some more information about that neighborhood and exactly what they're talking about and see what the deal is over there and see what the facts really are. Want to find out about that. Before I do, I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who's contributed toward tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out here to Stephanie Porter. Thank you very much for your support. Erwin Davis, thank you very much as well here. Child of Son, Derek Myrie, my man, Mr. Richburg, as always, thank you very much for your support. Sandra, she's trying to get her life together. We appreciate that as well, sister. We're going to go ahead and take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When I come back, I'm going to take your calls to find out, are you all upset? Are you mad? Are you worried? Do you think it's injustice? Do you think it's wrong? Do you think that we need to be doing more to protect the illegals? That we need to recognize that we're all in this together? I'm going to get your calls to find out from you. And if you have been instructed by me or my moderators to call in, very glad to hear from you there. I'm going ahead and I'm pinning the Zoom link to the top of the chat right now. So if you have been instructed by either me or my mods that you need to call in, there's the link to click on it. You got 2 minutes or permanent vacation. This is the Black Channel.
When you visit MrBeTheTeacher.com, you can get a copy of his award-winning book, Guidelines for the Successful Student. While you're there, grab one of his newest tunes along with fun and educational lyric videos.
Never give up, don't worry, never give up, study. In order to...
Times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. 2
Don't swap names, he, she, they, and we. Simplify the
Daddy divides as the father and guide. Money multiplies and shares of what they buy.
You can also acquire his tutoring services via varsitytutors.com or tutor.com. If you wish to speak to Steve Burgess directly, you can do so through MrBeTheTeacher.com.
The Honey Badger and the Mongoose is a children's story for the family of how a honey badger and mongoose fight an evil alliance of venomous cobra snakes and hyenas that overhauls the balance of the savannah. The Big Five. The honey badger demands reparations. Will the Big Five give the honey badger reparations? Can the evil alliance of cobras and hyenas be stopped? The best new price for the hard and soft cover is at www.thehoneybadgerandthemongoose.com. You can also find this book at Amazon, Audible, and Kindle.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slavery and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. And we've gone ahead and opened up the Zooms. You can go ahead and give us a call here tonight. We are talking about folks here that, oh boy, it is going down across the country by plane, train, automobile. Oh boy, they're getting deported left and right. Even folks who thought they wasn't going back to the country of origin are finding out, oh, illegal airlines is ready to punch your ticket. Figuratively and literally. Illegal Air is figuratively and literally willing to punch your tickets now, and they are ready. You will be boarding this flight, whether you wish to go or not. Damn! Yes, you will be a passenger on Illegal Air, whether you wish to be or not. So, whole bunch of people who said, oh, no, not me. I don't have a ticket. It's like, oh, don't worry, I brought your ticket. We brought your ticket for you. We got one for you. Oh, you didn't print out your passenger? You didn't print out your boarding pass? Don't worry, Tom Homan brought one for you. All right, let's go ahead and jump over here on Zoom. I got somebody called Zoom user here. Let's see exactly who we got. If you're on Zoom there, please make sure you have that on for me. Okay, Mr. Zoom user, there you go. What's your name, brother?
Hey, this is Rock Love. Rock Love calling out Chicago, Jason.
Okay, Rock Love out of Chicago. What's on your mind?
Okay, yeah. So what exactly did you want to know? I saw the segment on the gentleman, the foreign guy who had the restaurant. What did you want to know about?
Yeah, I think they said it's the Pilsen neighborhood. They're talking about it's a ghost town now. So I'm trying to figure out what is the makeup of folk over there. I don't want to just take their word for it.
Okay, so yeah, Pilsen is a Mexican neighborhood. I mean, it's an artsy neighborhood, so you got a lot of artists that live in lofts and they throw parties, but it is a Mexican enclave, and it's actually a pretty cool spot to go to. But the Mexicans that live over there have lived there for decades and decades. Okay, so I think it's a misleading thing because let me tell you something. In Chicago, they don't send the migrants to the Latino neighborhoods. They send them to the Black neighborhoods and downtown Chicago. That's one. So the Mexican, that's very misleading for them to be like, oh yeah, it's no ghost town. I will tell you this though, Jason, is it definitely is. The traffic is a lot light right now since they've been making these threats to get these people up out of here.
Word.
So traffic is very light.
Oh, what'd you say? It's easier getting down to Dan Ryan now?
Oh man, Jason, it's a 30-minute difference. And I'll tell you something that people aren't talking about. And my deduction is this. One of the first jobs that the illegal immigrants get, and I can tell you, when I call you, I'm always in my car. That's because I do food delivery, Uber Eats, Lyft, and all of that. And that was once I listened to the business, your business channel as well, and I have for a long time. And so I've been trying to save money. And this type of gig used to be a really good way to work on your own, save money for other entrepreneurial endeavors. But once they flooded us with 30,000 new people that are doing Uber Eats, Lyft, what have you, they're cutting into the money. And the thing is they don't need, because Uber and all these places is not a geographical location. It's on the internet. That's one of the jobs that they can do, and that's what most of them do. And so, having them sit up in these hotels, they get fed, they get $900 on a link card, and they can do Uber. They can save a lot of money. My thinking is that they already took whatever they saved up and got up out of here, and they probably went to non-sanctuary cities. Okay, so they're in the weeds somewhere. And maybe
there's the real problem. Like the mess they keep doing in Chicago, for example, and that's why Indiana's got an issue with it. If you make problems there and stuff, folk get up and cross the state lines. You can bring illegals into California, New York, Chicago. The problem is they won't stay there. So they'll be there for a minute, and it doesn't matter what state you're in. If they're not your problem today, they will be your problem. Because, for example, they wouldn't be able to get their driver's license in Louisiana, but can they get one in California or Illinois? They're not even supposed to be driving, and yet there they are doing Uber Eats or something like that. You're not even supposed to be driving.
I'll tell you this, Jason, they let the illegals ride around with no tags at all. No license plate, no license, nothing. They could ride around like that. I'm not playing. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Okay, are you able to do the same thing?
Absolutely not. We going to jail if we get stopped.
Oh, yeah, they're going to grab you. They're going to impound your car if you don't have insurance, just like out there in California. I did that story a decade ago with the sheriff out there talking about it would be a hardship on the illegals to impound their car if they don't have insurance. Okay, what about the legal folk? It ain't a hardship, but for the illegals, what the hell's our priority here?
Well, let me just say this. The fact that they have enough money to save up to drive a vehicle is crazy. You see what I'm saying? It costs a lot of money to just get a vehicle these days, and they rolling heavy. They dripped out.
No, it's what I've always said. You have to have help. These other folks, all these folks, I got here and dug them. No, you didn't. They gave you help when you got over here. Otherwise, for a fact, you can't make it in Chicago just if somebody just dropped you off there, you don't know nobody. Nigga, you're going to starve in Chicago. There's no way in the world you're going to make it unless you have help, and a lot of it. You're going to need education, health care, the whole damn transportation, the whole damn 9 yards. So yes, they're not coming up here and starting with nothing. They never do.
Right. And like I said, Jason, so like I told you, they do not send these particularly the Latino immigrants coming from Venezuela and other places like that. They do not send them to Pilsen, which is the Mexican neighborhood. I don't think the Mexicans in Pilsen would even want them in the neighborhood because, like I said, they've been there for decades. They send them to the west side, south side, and downtown Chicago hotels. Let me give you this one thing that happened. I was doing a Grubhub delivery, and the guy's name was Jesus or something. And it was going to 203 East Ohio, which I'm like, that sounds familiar. I used to take jump offs to this hotel. It's called the Chicago Inn.
Well, you're snitching on yourself, but go ahead.
Whatever, it is what it is. But so I get there, and then I said, oh yeah, I thought this was the Chicago Inn. And then I'm looking for entrance to go into the hotel, and they have the windows blacked out, like like a black sort of tape. But you can sort of peek in, and I peek in, and I see people cooking food, and then the guy comes out. He's an Hispanic guy. He looks like an American citizen. He spoke good English. Is that for Jesus? I said, yeah. I said, what's going on with the hotel? He said, I'm not allowed to give you that information. And right there, I knew what it was. And then I looked, and I'm like, oh, this is where they storing them. And this is a 25-story luxury hotel. So they're staying in the hotel. The people are cooking food for them in the lobby. So they're getting fed. They get to lounge up in the hotel. They work in Uber 12 hours a day, and they saving up all that money, buying up drip. They got brand new Jordans on. So I'm thinking the reason why it's a lot quieter, I think they already self-deported, to be honest. I think they took their savings and got up out of here.
Could be. You may be right. Thank you very much for giving us the 411 on that. We appreciate that, brother. Let me go ahead and see if I can get some other folk here. I got a few folks up here right now. Let me get Queen Imani up here on Zoom. Let me go ahead and get Queen Imani up here. All right, let me get Queen Imani up here on Zoom. There you go. All right, Queen Imani, what's on your mind?
Hi, Mr. Jason Black. I just want to share the story with you that happened to me. I'm from Chicago. I've been here all my life.
South side or west side?
South side.
All right.
And I was working for the University of Chicago, and my supervisor happened to be an Hispanic woman. Okay, very nice woman, very nice. And I was looking for a place to live that's closer to my job, and I went on Craigslist and I found an apartment on 26th Street, and it was a beautiful apartment. Well, there's one exception; it was a hole in the ceiling, but that's another story. But I thought they could maybe fix it up so I can live there. And so I applied for the place, and so I saw the place, and the people who owned it were Hispanic, and she lived in the building. She had an office there, and she was a tax preparer, right? And so when I saw the place, I told her, about the hole in the ceiling, right? And she said, well, we can fix that, right? She said, well, we'll get back with you, right? Okay. So a week went past, and I didn't get a response from her. So I contacted her back, and she kept avoiding me, right? So finally, I told my supervisor, I said, you know what? I applied for this place on 26th Street, and they told me they're going to get back with me, which they never did. And so I called them back a second time, and then she says, well, you know what? The owner, she says, the place has been taken over. No, I'm sorry, it's been rented out. And I'm like, really? Huh. I said, okay. So I had my supervisor call them up with the same number, and they told her she can come in and see the place. She can come in and see it. So the place it was still available. So my supervisor was Hispanic. She spoke, she went for the place, right? And so I said, my goodness. And I heard the, conversation because she put the phone on speaker, right? And so as she hung up, she said, okay. She said, and she went to my computer and she said, you know what? She pulled up the Equal Housing Commission. She said, Queenie, file a complaint. And I filed a complaint, and I took them to court, and I won my case. Housing discrimination. I won my case against her.
Well, on the one hand, that's great, and I'm very glad to hear that. On the other hand, my first thought is so much for that Black and Brown coalition. My second thought about it is, now this is Black folk in your own city.
Yes.
Now think about that for a few moments. You don't hear white people with stories like that. This is Black folk in your own city. It is a crime what's happening, and I hope that my people have had enough of the bull crap up there in Chicago. I hope so. Because two things that are egregious in Chicago right now. Number one is Brandon Johnson. He's the most egregious. You thought Lori Lightfoot was the worst thing that could happen. Brandon Johnson's like, hold my beer. The fact that they could pull $100 million out their rump for a bunch of illegals. And I've traveled all over that city, Bronzeville and every damn thing else. And I'm looking at what the hell my people could do with $1 million each, and them sitting up here telling you what they can't have. We ain't got the money for it. And yet you pull out, Governor Pritzker all of a sudden can pull out unlimited resources for a bunch of other folk and dumping them in your neighborhood. Oh, here goes. Yeah. We got it right here. Now that's egregious act number one. You want to know what you need to be doing? It's like, no, y'all keep that exactly where it is. Wherever the hell y'all got that last 100 million, you're going to get the next one. And the one after that, wherever you got that. And number two, about them damn parking meters. What? Oh, yeah, and about that. Because, by the way, I had a chance to think that over. And then someone, we can't undo that. They took it to court. We can't undo it. I'm like, oh, that's great. That's fine. All you got to do is raise the taxes on the companies that own them now. They can keep the parking meters. Now you just raise the taxes on them. And that's all you got to do. And next thing you know, you got plenty of money coming in for that. So I hope my people stay focused on this. He's made a lot of enemies among the folk. This is the time to galvanize. It wouldn't take very much to knock him off. He's as weak as he can be right now. He was just the newest disposable nigga that they threw up there. He's just the newest disposable one. Lori was the last one. I mean, this is what they do all over the place. Y'all take a look at how many black so-called politicians, they just one term and done. Keisha Bottoms, Lori Lightfoot. Look at Eric Adams. What's her face up there in the New England states? I forget what their name was. London Breed. We can go down the damn list. It's like, no. It's a whole bunch of folk can't make it. They can't make it. You're just disposable. And that's what they're doing. In his case, he needs to be, but definitely an agenda needs to be in place. And I hope that folks see that's what is bad and say, no. The only problem with the budget was you wasn't dropping the money over here. That's the only, we need to cut back on the budget. Well, you need to cut back on for the illegals, but yeah, the only other problem with this, that money needs to be dropped over here. And now you've shown you got it. You can't lie and say you don't. It needs to get dropped off over here, period.
I agree. And one more thing I want to say, Mr. Black, is this. Okay, on the South Side, there's one particular area where they congregate on 71st Street at this one particular local grocery store there, right? And do you know, I actually, when I go to that area, I have to when I see those illegals coming towards me, I have to clutch my purse, and I'm fearful of them because I know they're dangerous. For real.
That's why they put them there. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Dan up here on Zoom. Let me go ahead and try to grab Dan up here. Okay, let me see if we can get Dan up here on Zoom. Dan likes to try to use his cell phone tower signal, not the Wi-Fi. We're going to have to work on that. Let me see if I can find Dan right quick. Okay, Dan, there you go. What's on your mind, brother?
You get me good?
Yes, sir.
Oh, what's going on? I would like to tap in and let you know that when they say it was a ghost town up here, well, where's a ghost town supposed to be at? In their community, in the Hispanic community, in the Puerto Rican neighborhood or something like that? I can't speak for that for the niggas out west and out south. Maybe Little Village is quiet. Well, you know that's where the county jail at. So,
well, they're talking about Pilsen.
Yeah, that's like north. Because that neighborhood, it looked like Little Village. I could tell that wasn't a black neighborhood. Not looking like that anyway. But I thought it was Little Village because it kind of looked like Little Village to a certain degree. But yeah, but I do want to add on to this too. I'm glad that it's happening. That they get them out the paint because they just did it. From what I was hearing, they did a sweep in Aurora, Illinois. And there's a lot of Latinos up there. They rent up and they all stuck in them warehouses and stuff like that. And
okay, yeah, because if they go up to Aurora, they're gonna catch a lot up there. If they go up there.
It's a lot of Aurora is kind of like it's like the second biggest city in Illinois.
Yeah, I know about Aurora. I've talked about it before. I know.
A lot of those. They already talking about it. And you know what else too? Well, I kind of found ironic though. I won't say ironic. I kind of funny. On the flip side, a lot of them is real humble. They real nice all of a sudden. They kind of quote our speeches and stuff like that. Say, hey, we support our blacks, but don't make fun of us when it comes to our children and stuff like that. Then you got some of these thoughts, the young thoughts, and the religion start talking about what they doing to the kids. That is horrible. Okay, well, what about our children? There's no natural outcry for our kids. So and these are a lot of your school teachers and nurses, by the way. So we talked about So it's a lot of
the schools are going to be particularly problematic because the schoolhouses have become whorehouses, figuratively and literally. The school systems, your school superintendents are particular villains in this story because they don't give a damn where the kids come from because they give money for every head that comes up in there. So they have a vested interest in just bringing anybody, doesn't matter where they came from. So those are going to be some of the loudest voices that you're going to have just arguing for open borders and everybody who shows up, don't matter where they came from. So where the schools are concerned and the teachers unions and particularly the administration though.
Oh yeah.
The school board, county administration, those are going to be particular problems.
Yeah, because they was already here. It's just the news got up on. They tried to run up in a few schools in the city, but I guess the police was protecting them, and a lot of and then a lot of teachers they were speaking on about it, especially all through social media, because a lot of the stuff that the mainstream media talking about, because a lot of time they pick up on the latest because they watch what's going on with people putting online and stuff like that, but.
No, I need y'all to know they what they do at these schools, for those of you who don't know, and this is not just in Chicago. This is Chicago, Georgia, Texas, the Midwest, Pennsylvania. What they do is they tell the teachers, anybody in who works in education knows what I'm telling you is the truth. They tell the teachers, the principals and the school board and stuff, tell the teachers that if you got a problem with the illegal kids and stuff, here's the thing. If we don't keep the numbers up, we'll have to close your school. So you have a choice. We can either do this or you ain't going to have a job because we're going to have to cut back on the number of teachers. So if y'all want to know what they're actually telling them, it's like, how are they getting along with it, or why is there so many of them required or whatever? They're telling them your jobs are on the line. If we don't have bodies in these seats, we don't need as many teachers. So we'll shut your school down. So do you want your school shut down? Oh, you don't? Well, then you let us do what we're doing. And that's literally what they're telling them. Anybody who works in education will tell you, yeah, that's literally what they're saying to them. I'll let you have the last word.
Nice. I mean, good broadcast. It's going to be an interesting 4 years. So I'm glad they starting off with the deportations and especially with a lot of these warehouses, a lot of these properties that they own too, and low income, and they're getting them about the paint too. So they ain't got to be discriminatory against certain black folks, especially black folks who disabled or who's a little bit behind economically to get some of these houses. So we ain't saving face no more. We ain't getting in the front line and saving everybody else no more. So everybody got to hold their own nuts, and that's all I got to say.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, it's a wake up call for a lot of folks out there. They ain't even bothering asking us. They already asked us before the election. They already know. They already knew where we stood. Now they just can't pretend and play along like they don't. They already knew where we stood. That's the whole reason they don't want to talk to us now. Because, yeah, you already knew this. You already knew what our position was. You already knew where we were at. You already knew how we were going to respond. You were just trying to play dumb. And it's like, okay, we're going to give you something to play dumb with. We're going to give you something to play dumb with. Now I've got Karen on Zoom. Karen, make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on for me. Nobody else is going to see you except for me. We just need to make sure we have that turned on for us. All right. Is that Karen? Speak. Okay, y'all. They're looking at the camera. They're listening to me on YouTube and not on Zoom. Okay, this is awkward. All right, we'll have to come back to that. All right, let me go ahead and see if I can get iPhone user up here. Let me see if I can get iPhone user up here. Okay, turn the light on for me. If you're going to test out your OnlyFans, this is not the time. There you go.
Yes, sir. What's going on, big brother Black? This the Deacon. Yes, sir.
Okay, Deacon, what's on your mind?
The deacon that's mad at the black politicians because, boy, look at here. They speak for everybody but except us, man. How y'all gonna have church today and you see what we going through? You're standing up for migrants. You doing everything for illegals. But, man, look at here. The black heterosexual man and the black children, we the ones that's suffering. If you look around our raggedy-ass neighborhood with them chicks that look like Glorilla Zoe without the surgery, it's bad, man. It's bad. And the sad thing I'm seeing is old no-neck, roly-poly ass Martin. He mad and trying to stand up for illegals. Man, you didn't stand up for none of the things that's happening to us. You don't stand up for anything that's going on in these communities. Man, you got a brother that done got beat up and felt on and all kind of stuff in prison. They killed him, but you standing up for illegals because you want to get the money. You want a big food stamp card. And I'm looking at these black pastors, all these TDJ, Kurt Franklin, BBL, booty ass pastors. Man, they doing too much, but they're not talking right. So we, as black heterosexual men, we got to stand in the paint. This the year that we gonna get wild and violent and let them know that we ain't gonna tolerate no more. Because I'm telling you, man, I am sick of this. Any one of you black liberals that keep voting for these raggedy Democrats, stay the hell away from us because you're wrong. You're ugly. You ain't right. And you keep voting all this crazy stuff in. So you're a transgender. Well, look at all the money that they wasted in the jail. Transgender breasts and all kind of stupid stuff. But we around here struggling and scratching and surviving, living in project housing. Can't get along. I see so many homeless black men walking down the street, brother. So it's sad. And it's sad that you shouldn't have to look like Dwayne Wade, ugly ass son, daughter to get some benefits. You shouldn't have to sell your soul and have a big old black hole booty hole to get all the help. So, man, my thing is we got to stay on their tail. How y'all speaking for migrants? You black do caucus, you coward NAACP, all you black groups. Y'all don't do nothing for us, but we need to call them up, brother black. We need to be on their cellular phones. We need to let them know that, bro, y'all ain't gonna be getting all the tax money no more. You ain't getting no more money off the income tax checks. You child support checks. Donald Trump stopped that too. So we brothers can get us a little change. But man, we got to really let them know that we mean business because the CO ugly Brandon Johnson with that Bobby Brown Gumby, how you got a Sonic the Hedgehog ass haircut? First of all, you too old with them thrift ass funeral home suits on, and you around here talking about you gonna stand up for illegals, but black males get killed every 2 minutes in your raggedy ass city. See, man, brother, we are wearing the deacon hyped up, brother, and I love that you keep doing your thing. And the deacon's still in love with Candace Owens too. I know she's Nigerian. She got a ponytail like a Nigerian, but that's all right, brother. And with that being said, brother, I just wanted to let you know that we finna stand up and let's represent this LPA thing, and that's all the deacon had to say. And I'm out.
All right, well, Candace Owens, she got a ponytail. She also got a biracial baby up in there now. Damn. So if you ready to play stepdaddy, Candace might be available if you're ready to play stepdaddy. So you might be able to do that there. All right, let me see. Is this Dominique sitting up here? Let me see if we got Dominique on here. Where you at, Dominique? Bring yourself on up here, Dominique. We're going to give you 5 seconds, Dominique, and then we're going to roll out. There you go, Dominique. You must be doing Uber Eats tonight.
No, I'm waiting on somebody. What's up?
Okay. Dude, you called me.
Yeah. How you been?
You called up tonight. What's on your mind?
How you been?
Okay, that signal on his flip phone.
How have you been, bro? What's up? How have you been?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Did you have something to talk about?
I did. I had a couple of things. So one, what do you think Jesus would say about the immigration that's happening?
Well, I think that would be a bit of speculation. Although, if you take into account, render unto Caesar what is his. If Caesar says these are his borders, Jesus certainly wouldn't want you deciding that you're going to break the law.
I mean, he's talking about taxes necessarily, but that
no,
same
he said
empire-
render. No, he said render unto Caesar what is
What was
Caesar's,
the
and unto
context?
God what is God's.
Well, he also said like love thy neighbor as you would love yourself. So like context is important. So what would Jesus say about the forced deportations?
Okay,
Is actually what I meant
if
to
you
say.
have a neighbor who does not respect your property, what type of neighbor is that?
Well, if your neighbor is in a situation,
Okay, he got to deal. He got to deal with his situation. That's what you say. If
No,
he's in a
if your neighbor
situation,
is in a situation that like requires help and aid.
yes.
like,
If he
on a massive
he
scale, what would
is,
you do?
yeah. The key word is he. That means it's his situation. How is his situation my responsibility?
Because you're supposed to love your neighbor as you would love yourself.
But your neighbor is supposed to be responsible as you are.
Are you your brother's keeper or not?
Slow down.
Like, I don't want to get.
Slow down. No.
I don't want to get.
What is the neighbor's responsibility to himself?
The responsibility of the person in the higher position is to help.
No. What is the neighbor's responsibility? What is the neighbor supposed to be doing?
What if your neighbor's on fire, Jason?
Sir, what is the neighbor responsible? What is the neighbor responsible for doing for himself?
What if your neighbor is on fire, Jason?
Dominique, if you ignore the question again, you're out of here. What is the neighbor's responsibility to himself? What is he responsible for on his own?
To help himself, his family, and like all of those that he can in accordance with God's will.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So in other words, he's supposed to take care of that. Now, if my neighbor willfully ignores his response, what should we do if our neighbor is willfully ignoring his responsibilities?
What is the responsibility?
The first thing is
that
you just asked a question.
Is that responsibility the same for every person? Melania Trump, was that responsibility? Like, was her responsibility for becoming a rightful citizen? Elon Musk, who is actually an illegal alien because he snuck in on a student visa, actually, when he came to this country, right? These people.
Yes, and that means that because they did that, yes, they are subject and eligible to the consequences of the law.
They're not, and that's the problem. They're not.
No,
because
I
our
didn't say that they're not.
Isn't fair because life isn't fair.
Okay, but you're trying to make an argument about fairness that doesn't change. That does not change the law.
Well, once upon a time, it was lawful to own people, right? What about that? Huh? It was lawful in God's will to own people. Once upon a time.
Okay, so what does that tell you?
Use the Bible.
So what does that tell you, Dominique? If you don't like the law, then you need to change the law. That's what you just articulated.
No, sometimes does the foul.
Wow,
law
I just debunked it.
No, you didn't. You're gonna say that because you're a coward. Does the law ordaining slavery to be legal justify slavery until the law is changed? Yes, according to your logic.
No, what I'm saying is that the people that you're referring to chose to come here and be subjects of the law here. That's the difference.
White people chose to come here, right?
All the people you're talking about, everybody other than the slaves chose to come. Dominique, be quiet. All the folk the only people who didn't choose to come here were the foundationals. Everybody else has chosen to come here, which means that they need to honor the laws of the place that they came as a guest.
So we should uphold the law of the people that brought us here against our will.
If you're asking, to come there, you're requesting to come there.
Yeah.
You're requesting to come there. You have a bunch of. Why don't you go to another destination, Dominique? Dominique, you're doing light skin stuff. Calm yourself down. Why is it you don't just, sir? If you are, sir, you were born in a different place. If you want to go to another place, you are subject to the laws and rules of that place. You don't get to say, well, I'm here, new rules.
Well, the law of God is the law of the land, and it supersedes the laws that made slavery
Okay,
legal,
which
that made
God?
Jim Crow legal.
Which God?
Right? Come on. The black people's God, Jason. What are you doing?
Who is the black? No,
I
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you know what I'm talking
Who's the black
about.
people's God? Who's that?
Oh, now we're gonna do this because you're.
You
scared.
just said
Right.
God is
you
the
know
law
what?
of the
I'm
land.
gonna
Which
say-
one?
I'm gonna say whites look down on brown people.
Okay, Dominique, you're going to be quiet. What you're going to do is tell us all who is the black God that you're referring to. Say his name.
I mean, the name of God is not in like a language. You know that, right?
Okay,
Like,
in
Jesus
the
is
Bible,
the
in the
Son.
Quran,
Jesus is
in the
Son.
Talmud,
Jesus-
the name is all
Jesus-
over the place, sir.
Jesus is not
In Hinduism.
like, the real name of the guy.
Okay, who is the
Yeshua,
one
you know?
you're referring to?
The guy, the guy that made all of
Okay,
this, you know, the guy from the Bible.
there you go.
The
All
guy
right.
from the Bible.
There you go.
The person from the Bible. What's
The
up?
person from the Bible. There you
Tell
go.
me God's name. Go ahead. Tell me God's name.
You're the
so
one.
smart.
No,
Say
you're
it.
the one who says the
Say
law of the
it.
land. I'm saying whichever one you're referring
You
to.
know what I'm talking. So
Yeah. There you go.
Did you talk about Trump's upending civil rights, like that whole thing that he did?
Dude, civil rights was upended decades ago. First of all, it was never fully implemented. And second of all, it was upended decades ago. You're slow.
On January 21st.
Dude, what are you talking? Yeah, January 21st, 1969. That's
Can I
when
read
it
this?
was
Can I read this? It's
upended.
crazy and important. It's
No,
from Trump.
no,
It's
you're
from
not
my daddy.
You're
Because
not
I
reading
really love
anything
him.
on my
You have a
program.
picture of him next to
You're
your
not
Confederate
hosting
flag.
anything. I'm hosting
And
it.
what's the Nasheed touch?
Okay, Dominique kind of gets on some drugs, and that's the case right there. You know, Dominique, I wanted everybody to see here that, by the way, light-skinned folk from Canada, just in case y'all thought all the crazies were down here in the States. No, it's the light-skinned dudes in Canada.
So yeah,
they
show
do the
my
same
face,
thing.
but you won't show your.
The light-skinned dudes from Canada
Show my
do the
face,
same
but you
thing.
won't show yours.
So
This is what you do
heck
because
of a
you're a
thing to
coward.
be in.
This is what you do because you're a coward.
Okay, Dominique, I
your
need
face.
you to
Show your
to
face.
take the
Let me-
day off.
No.
Dominique needs to take the day off there.
Let me read this. For
No,
the people-
Dominique, you're done. We're
No,
not
I care
doing
about
anything
the people.
else.
If you care about the people, you'll let me read this letter from the
Okay.
president, your
Folks,
daddy.
this is your brain
Yeah.
on drugs, is the part I can tell you there. That's your brain on drugs. So he's taking the election very hard. Dominique was dependent on Kamala Harris. He was depending on Kamala Harris. He has taken the election extraordinarily hard. The little white girls are still up there smacking him up and giving him hell. Dominique, I don't want to call you nigger, but you know, why can't you keep you and the other niggers in line? You said that, and oh, Becky, you know, I'm working on that. You know, they just all kind of silly, Becky. And no, Dominique, you have to go. You have to go. I can't keep you around here. I just feel uncomfortable. I need my peace, and I just don't feel comfortable here. You're not doing enough. And Dominique's calling me up every day and we complaining. Can you get the rest of them in line, dude? Why are they just not doing what they're doing there, man? You know, I'm talking to the gods of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and you're just not helping here, Jason, dude. I mean, we're supposed to love all God's children. You're supposed to take care of your neighbor. Shouldn't my neighbor take care of me? No. So, and y'all heard he had like another voice over there, so I think that was Becky tonight. I think that was Becky tonight in the background, so she was standing over his ass while he was talking just to make sure he spoke to us. You're not trying hard. Trump just got inaugurated. You need to get on them now. Get on them now, Dominique. Now. I don't know why I deal with you. I don't know why I do this. So Dominique is lighting us up. That's the problem, dude. The rest of you people right there, you're just cold-hearted and silly and say, you just don't understand what the real issues are here, man. We're supposed to take care of everybody. Love your neighbor. Sprinkle down. Everything is cool and groovy, dude. You guys take things just way too seriously. This is what happens. Forget your kids getting bounced, your kid getting dropped on their head. This is what happens when you dribble your baby's head like a damn basketball.
And deal with it, nigga.
Forget dropping them on their head. When you dribble, his mama dribbled his head like like it was the Final Four. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Tyler up here on Zoom. Let me go ahead and get Tyler up here. All right, we got Tyler on Zoom.
All right, brother Jason. Good evening. Good evening. How you doing?
All right, Tyler, what's on your mind?
Man, it's a good day. Trump came to LA and gave Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass their asses on a platter. They got worked. It was beautiful to see. Trump's executive orders have destroyed all liberal credibility. I got people at the job. I heard a couple people last night talking about their coworkers. I got some coworkers that were promoting America the Great, America the Progress country, and Trump just showed them in one foul swoop. No, we can get back to the 60s with the swipe of a pen. So they're a little bit upset about that, Jason. They're a little bit upset.
Yeah, I mean, look, things are happening quickly, and what they didn't count on was that we knew this, and we were okay with it. There's the difference. We knew it, and we were okay with it. Not that we're okay with Trump's policies. We're okay with, if you all are going to ignore us, we're okay with letting the consequences happen.
Yeah.
We're okay with that. And they tried to play a game of chicken. Y'all niggas don't really mean that. You ain't really gonna just sit back and let it. You gonna talk trash and vent, but on election day, you gonna do the right thing. It's like, yeah, the right thing is to sit here and watch. No, you ain't. And they messed around and found out. Now Gavin Newsom is out there singing the blues, and him and Karen Bass got to listen to Trump sit up here and straight make a donkey out of the both of them to their damn faces. And there's no black support whatsoever to come save them. It's a rough time out there, bro.
It's a rough time, Jason. Like the caller before, I call him one of the white whisperers. White whisperers are having a freak out right now, Jason, because what Trump has done has exposed them as the cowards they are, and they're trying right now to save face like crazy, and it's not working very well. It's not working very well.
No, it's too late for all that. The time for them to negotiate with us was 4-5 years ago. The time to negotiate with us was when we voted for Biden. Well, not saying it's we, but when he had black support in 2020, that was the last ditch effort. He didn't understand it. He didn't get it. He didn't know that. Brother, when you got to leave office and give every damn body pardons on the way out the damn door, you know you messed up. You know your administration was a damn failure if that's what you're having to do. You know that. And you got everything in disarray. It could have been different. Brother, if they had made a priority of black folk like they were supposed to, if they had made a priority of finishing up the unfinished work of this 1960s like they were supposed to, y'all supposed all that damn money you done grabbed out of nowhere for illegals, that was what you were supposed, that was our damn check right there. Telling us what you can't do for us, that's our damn check right there. They're non-citizens. They don't have a right to anything. We sitting here telling you all every time we show up, oh, we ain't got it. And then you have the base disrespect to tell us, oh, well, they showed up. Well, the law says we got to. Oh, the law says you're supposed to do that for us, too. Actually, the law doesn't say you have to do anything for them. First of all, that's the first insult. They have no rights whatsoever except the human right not to be executed on sight when they walk across the border. But there is no law that says you have to fund them and finance them. There's you sitting up here freestyling. Now, what you haven't done is make sure we are right. Now, what this tells us is you are spiritually at war with us, and now you're politically at war with us. It's like, okay, well, let the damn war get popping. For real, for real. And let Trump and his friends run the damn yard, and let Elon Musk make a donkey out of every damn body, and Vivek Ramaswamy acting a fool, and whoever held Pete Hegseth, oh boy, he just got confirmed Secretary of Defense, so it's going all the way down. When him and Pam Bondi, okay, she in. Pete Hegseth, he's in. When Kash Patel gets in, dude, lawsuits, subpoenas, investigations, every damn thing that ain't bolted down. He's coming. They coming for it. Where's the black vote? We'll holler at you in 2028 and see if you got some act right.
Jason, to take that a step further, I don't know if you heard about Trump's Stargate project, $500 billion. And for those of you who don't understand, another way to say that is $500 billion. So the down payment for black reparations is always available. That's not the last 500,000. $500 billion they're going to get. So they're going to spend that They're going to have more. And so this AI project's not going to break the bank. I want to make it clear reparations is not going to break the bank. And they're making that clear right now, without a doubt.
No, but they pull trillions out they damn rumps every time we look up. Whether we had an emergency. It's a war on terror, war on Russia, war on COVID. I mean, all of a sudden, trillions become available out of thin damn air. The very folks telling you what they couldn't do. And the real killing part about it is even at the damn local level, that is an insult. That is a fatal, mortal insult in New York City. You get 100,000 illegals and we can spend billions, while the native black population has to flee the damn city. And they're going down there crowding out Georgia and the Carolinas because they can't afford to be in New York anymore. And meanwhile, you got billions out of nowhere for illegals. It's like, oh, no, you've declared war against us. That's what that is. All we're doing now is not pretending that that's not what it is anymore. We're just saying, okay, that is what it is. We're going to respond in kind. So it's like, man, look here. Let Trump do what he's going to do. And we'll check back on you in 4 years and find out would you like to do things a little differently, or would you like to stay this new course we're on? You thought we was going to stay on the old one. No, we busted left and made a new one. Would you like us to stay on this one? Because the stuff they talking about now is like, dude, you don't even want to know what he's going to come up with. If he holds on, if the Republicans hold the House and the Senate in 2026, y'all don't want to know what the hell he's going to come up with after that. You don't want to know some of the stuff he's going to start saying if that happens. Like, I got 2 more years. Oh, baby, let it ride. You don't want to know what's coming up next.
Jason, last 2 things, Jason. For those who don't know, $1 billion, Jason, is if you want to spend $1 billion, you'd have to spend $1 million every single day, and it would take you 3.25 years just to spend that. So $1 billion is an enormous amount of money. It's $1 million every day on Sunday as well. Last thing, Jason, went to the African American History Museum for MLK Day last week. I went, and the first person I asked was a lady in her 50s. All right, not too bad. Black woman, right? Looks like everybody's auntie, everybody's grandma. I said, excuse me, what's the museum's position on cash reparations for the descendants of American slaves? She looked at me, Jason, she gave me the most evilest look you've ever seen and said, I don't know, you got to ask somebody else, pointed in a random direction and walked away. I asked the next 2 employees that I could find, Jason. Younger employees were like, I need this job. Please don't say that too loud. The older employees were looking at me angry. The African American History Museum in California, Los Angeles, their stance, they don't have a stance on reparations, Jason. We are all we got. Be one.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. That came from the top. Y'all, the old policy is not the old policy. The old policy is the policy that if specifically black folk and specifically foundational, you show up, we don't give them anything. If they talk to you, there is no agenda for them. That came from the top. That came from everywhere. The official policy of the Democratic Party is we want black votes, but our policy is to undermine black people, undermine them, and then get them to vote for us. So we give them nothing. And we certainly don't have them come to us with anything. No, the official policy of the Democratic Party is we give you nothing. So they were shocked to hell when they sat up here and talked about, they said the phrase, black businesses, and they thought that was going to fix everything, and realized, we're not falling for that. We're not falling for the black business cliche. Let's just make this very clear. Donald Trump is doing what Donald Trump do. The Republicans are doing what they do. And every damn time you turn on the damn television, you got some jackass reporter sitting up here talking about, well, it ain't legal, and what Trump did is questionable. 14th Amendment, that ain't legal. I'll be damned. He said damn legal. I'm in power. Whatever I do is legal. Well, I'll be damned. The Democrats letting 20 million illegals across the damn border, that ain't legal. Paying for flights, that's not legal. food stamps and hotel rooms for illegal non-citizens, that's not legal. So you have, from this day forward, you have no excuses. Legality is not a damn excuse for not doing our bidding. If we said do it, get your ass over there and get it done. Or we can just sit back and we'll just let the other side have their way with you. When you're getting to a point where you got to pardon your whole damn family and the whole block and the PTA and every person you were in a high school yearbook with, that tells you y'all are in trouble. That tells you that you are in trouble. Maybe I need to go a little bit further with it. We'll see. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Juggernaut up here on Zoom. Interesting name here. Kane Marco is wanting to call in. All right, we got Juggernaut here on Zoom. Juggernaut, where are you? I don't see you there. There you go. All right, Juggernaut, what's on your mind?
You can hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, I'm right now. I'm in Pilsen. I'm in the actual Pilsen neighborhood right now, and it's it's Sunday and it's cold, so there's not gonna be many people outside any old way. But as far as we just talking about Pilsen, it's what you call the gentrification is going on here in the Pilsen area. A lot of people don't know that. Is going on over here in this area. So, it's a lot of illegals, plus there's a lot of people leaving.
Okay. Well, like I say, there's going to be a lot more of them leaving here very, very soon. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, it's going to be a whole lot more leaving here in just a minute. Just tell them hang tight. You're going to have plenty of company to head on out with you. Just a minute. Go ahead and do that. Okay, now there's something else. I'm glad there was something else I wanted to deal with here too. Wanted to play something for y'all because there's something else I wanted to deal with. Lindsey Graham was on NBC. He was on NBC Meet the Press today. He was talking to Kristen Welker. She was asking him some questions. And there's a part in here in particular I want us to go over. I want to see if I can get to the right part of it. Fair use, NBC, by the way, fair use. But there's a part there that I wanted to get to that I want you all to hear, just to give you a heads up on what the future holds. And this is from a longtime senator now, Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, and listen to some of what he had to say here.
Hailed as a hero, I certainly don't. We'll see how the hearing goes, but in her favor, Richard Burr is going to introduce her, and he's one of
I think he's talking about Tulsi Gabbard.
Senator, can you say right now, are you a yes on Tulsi Gabbard?
I'm going to see how the hearing goes. I'm inclined to be yes on everybody, but there's some questions she will be asked that I want to hear the answers to.
So you're a we'll see, not a yes.
We'll see.
Okay. Let me ask you finally, on Friday night, President Trump removed, as you know, 18 independent inspectors general. Just for folks so they know what that means, these are watchdogs in key departments, from defense to the State Department, Veterans Affairs. What do you say to those who believe that President Trump is going to replace these watchdogs with loyalists?
I'm not overly worried about that. It's not the first time people have come in and put their team in place. When you win an election, you need people in your administration that reflect your views. So I'm not really worried about that. This other stuff, the security detail, that bothers me because it sends a signal to future service. Tulsi Gabbard, I'm inclined to vote for everybody, but I want to hear her thinking about Assad and Snowden, and we'll see.
But very quickly, the law says he's supposed to give you 30 days notice. He didn't do that. Do you think he violated the law?
Well, technically, yeah, but he has the authority to do it. So I'm not, losing a whole lot of sleep that he wants to change the personnel out. I just want to make sure that he gets off to a good start. I think he has. I'm very supportive of what he wants to do in America. I want to give his team more money for the border. And let me just end on this to my House Republican colleagues in the House and the Senate. If we don't give Tom Homan more resources, all the things we promised we would do during the campaign are going to fall flat. Without money, he can't do what he promised to do.
All right. Senator Lindsey Graham, please come back and join.
So, yeah, he's saying that, by the way, he wants to make sure that they are ready for bear. He wants to make sure that they get more money on top of everything else. In case you all were wondering, by the way, we got more money we're going to jump up here for. So for illegals or whatever, yeah, we Bottomless pit, y'all. It's just when money needs to come up, is when black folks show up, everybody has a vow of poverty when we show up. It's only when we show up. All of a sudden, folks have a vow of poverty. And so we don't know if we can do anything for you right there. Not really sure we can make that happen, but for everybody else, it's a whole different thing when they show up. Whole different thing when they show up. Whole different thing. And I want us to keep that in mind because folks do things they want to do. They do things they want to do. Now, I do want to touch on one more thing here that Senator Graham said. I want to touch on one more thing because this is something else that goes as a warning to people about what we just talked about. He sends a warning that folks should keep in mind. I don't think you serve yourself very well to ignore it.
Seems to suggest that's an okay thing to do. Kamala Harris wanted to raise bail money for people burning down Minneapolis. You know, Biden pardoned half his family going out the door. I think most Americans, if this continues, to see this as an abuse of the pardon power, that we'll revisit the pardon power of the president if this continues. But to see this as an abuse of the pardon power, that we'll revisit the pardon power of the president if this continues. But as to...
Well, now isn't that an interesting statement? That if this kind of thing continues, United States Senator saying we may need to revisit the power of pardons if this continues. So for all the folks telling themselves, don't worry, the president's going to do that and this side. And yeah, you might have to have a constitutional convention, but if the senators get together, because we got to have 2/3 of folks to be able to put something together for that. But if they decide, yeah, we're going to go this direction, it could happen. Remember, no body of government likes to have another body of government just kind of throwing its weight around willy-nilly. And if enough of them get upset, they'll all get on the same team and be like, yeah, we need to rail that executive branch back in. We need to reel that executive branch back in. They doing too much over there. Okay, let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom. Let me go ahead and get Elijah up here on Zoom. All right, brother Elijah, what's on your mind?
Hey, big brother Jason. Good evening.
All right, what's on your mind?
Hey, brother, I got some questions because I got some questions. All right, but I'm gonna hurry through it so you can get to the other brothers and sisters on the line. With this whole illegal immigration, is the first time I heard of it that was back in 2003. All right, I was 18, turning 19, and everything like that. And it started to steadily be part of the national lexicon after that. I'm not saying it wasn't, but that's the first time I heard of it. And I was wondering, why do they keep playing this political hot potato with these illegal migrants? 1 minute they want them, 1 minute they don't. Every time they say, well, we're going to do this and that. And then I was wondering, them being here, to my understanding, especially nothing showed this more during the Joe Biden years, that cost Americans more.
Well, I mean, but the thing is, the people making the decisions don't care about that.
Okay.
Governor Pritzker, that's the Hyatt family. He don't give a damn about that. He's worried about his family fortune rests on illegals.
Yes, sir.
So illegal labor built his family fortune. He could give a damn about what everybody else is going through. Bill Gates, he don't give a damn what you going through. Same thing for the rest of Elon Musk, letting you know, by the way, he's like, yeah, we don't want them illegal, but I want that door as wide. I want to relax them rules as much as we can. So you start seeing that happens. So please understand that the United States was built on slave labor.
Yes, sir.
And in a capitalist system, reducing your cost of labor is really one of the primary goals, since labor is your biggest expense.
Yes, sir.
And the richer these folks give, the more unprincipled and immoral they become. And then eventually, you're not even people anymore. You're just a number. If you're that lucky, because the illegals are not even a number. So if you're black working for them, you're not a person, you're a number. If you're the illegals, you're really not even a number. We don't even know you. You don't even really exist. We don't even have you documented. You're not even on, we don't even try to keep you on paper nowhere. So you're just in a state of quasi-existence. And the whole point is illegal aliens enrich white men. It is a necessary evil because it allows them to regulate the labor market. They are not beholden to minimum wage or anything else. So they are literally breaking the law. They're literally disregarding the law and allowed to make money while doing it. Now you try it, whole different outcome.
Yes, sir.
But white privilege is the ability to be the Hyatt Corporation and the Hilton Corporation. And there's clearly a law that says you cannot do this. And you work every damn day in complete defiance of the law, open defiance, not just complete defiance, open defiance. Oh, well, it's a law for everybody except us. Now, that's what it is. That's literally the situation, which is why I always said, and I've just been reminding people more recently, yeah, these folks give good lip service to illegals, but only to a certain extent.
Yes, sir.
They're trying to control the flow of them is all they really want to do. They're not trying to seal the border, and they're certainly not trying to turn the spigot off. What they want is more control of it. But they don't want to eliminate the flow of illegals. They simply want to have more tighter control of it.
Yes.
That's
sir.
all.
Yes, sir. Well, big brother, I got this question now. If the Supreme Court allows Mr. Trump to get rid of the birthright citizenship, then what would I'm guessing from their standpoint, what would make sense now that they won't have any leverage at all, they can just bust the doors wide open and just bring a lot of them over here as much as they want because they won't have any birthright citizenship. They do anything, we can just send you right back. Now, could that be a possibility?
I mean, sure, that could be a double-edged sword. I mean, you would get all the benefits and few of the liabilities, although remember, they also don't see that as liabilities. Okay, governments don't care how the person gets there so long as the person gets there.
Yes, sir.
So you can be taxed and all these other things to fund the government. That's the whole thing. They don't give a damn. That's why they don't give a damn if the women have a bunch of bastard kids. We need you as long as you have them. So we can go ahead and continue this little thing that we call society. So, and the reason for that is because it benefits in ways that you don't necessarily think about. So, for example, I give you all the constant analogy. If you went to the grocery store today, that was a fully built out grocery store, it was fully stocked with employees, the place was built, the electricity is on, the shelves are stocked. Okay, but who did it? That wasn't you who did it. It wasn't your family members. It wasn't your friends. These are a whole bunch of folk you don't even know. So that has to be ready and prepared and in place when you get there.
Yes, sir.
So you don't think about the folks' bastard kids over there until you factor that into the equation. That's the way they think about business and the government. That those are services and things, that products and services that you're going to be expected to be in place, and you're not going to be doing that. So this is why we want all hands on deck available for it. So this is what I mean by it's a necessary evil. And for them, it's not an evil at all. They don't, as far as they're concerned, it's really just unenlightened that you're concerned about, quote, citizenship anyway. These people fancy themselves kings of the world. So as far as they're concerned, you're all their subjects. Whether you're in America, North America, South America, or Bangkok, you're all their subjects.
Yes, sir.
That's their attitude. Take a look at Donald Trump, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg. That's their view of humanity, is all of us are their subjects. And when you've got that kind of view of things, they'll be the first ones to tell you that there is no right, there is no wrong. There's simply what you do. And right and wrong is simply defined by who's in power. But that's all. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me see if I can get the next one up here on Zoom. Let me get Remy here on Zoom. All right, we got Remy up here on Zoom. What's on your mind, Remy? All right, Remy, what's on your mind?
Hey, quick question. I had a debate with a friend of mine in regards to the 14th Amendment. He believes that Donald Trump's going to pull it off completely. What's your opinion on that? I don't think so. I don't think he can. And if he does, I think it's just going to open up a bigger can of worms that's not going to put America in the best light in the world view.
Yeah,
Am
I mean,
I wrong? Or?
You can have high hopes. I mean, the 14th, overturning an amendment.
It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, there's steps you have to go through, and it's easy to talk about. What he's not going to overturn the 14th Amendment. That's not going to happen.
That's what
he is instead going to attempt to do is circumvent the 14th Amendment. Right. Now, that's what he's really trying to mentally and emotionally prepare people for and soften people up for, is the circumvention of it. Because
what's that look like?
What good is a law that you don't enforce? Which is the whole game. The illegals got here because there's clearly a law that says they are illegal, and you just had a prejudice. You just had a criminal administration in Joe Biden that just disregarded the law altogether.
Right.
So what he's really doing is preparing you for circumvention of it. That it's there. We don't have to do that. And the real thing is you'll have courts squabbling over it. And the real thing is, during that squabbling, he'll just be throwing folk out.
Even Supreme Court judges, you think they're in the limelight of Trump's wrath in regards to like throwing people out? I think it's a little harder than that, right?
Well, no, you can't remove judges like that. That would be, now you're getting into monarch powers, which is specifically what the Constitution prevents, and they wouldn't go with it anyway. But no, just basically him just saying, okay, we're going to grab them folk over there, do whatever, and people are not really going to be able to do anything to stop them. So the real thing is about them, that's why every folk talking about, is this legal, this, that, and the other. His whole thing is going to be about, I got the power to do it. And while you're arguing over whether it's legal, I'm over here doing it.
Right.
So that's really the thing about it. But it's not about overturning the 14th Amendment. That's not going to occur.
See, that's what I was trying to explain to him. I was like, you got to understand, like, the history of this nation. Anything that the white people allow the government to do to black people, the government turned around and did it to white people too. You know, they took and destroyed all of our farms. They're doing the same thing to the white people. When I was trying to explain that to him, I was like, they're just not going to slack shit off the market like that. It's too hard. You know, we have powers in place for that. I think he's been sipping the Kool-Aid a little bit on the left side. He's in California. You know, this is a good friend of mine. You know, he was in the military. I think he's a little shell-shocked a little bit.
What it is that, come on, brother, you got to be honest. If he in California talking like that's the cliches of dudes who are prioritizing interracial sexual access.
Hey, homie dude got a Filipino girl.
Okay, there you go. All he heard was, wait a minute now. Now this dovetails off of what I just said to Elijah. This dovetails off what I just said to him. Just like Bill Gates doesn't care how the worker got here, just like Governor Pritzker doesn't care how the worker got here, your friend does not care how the hoes got here. He just cares they're here. He don't give a damn about legal so long as he got access. So he's part of the problem. And he's not a billionaire or a millionaire, but he's advocating for the problem too. Now let me guess, is he retired military?
Yep.
Disability?
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, we need to revise that military disability thing. That's one of the biggest scams out there going. These are not people who've been shot. These are not people missing a leg. It's a nigga talking about, I think I got carpal tunnel syndrome. Yeah. And then they just sign off on that. So that military disability thing is one of the biggest scams out there. And this is what happens when they get it. By the way, and this is what happens when they do it. Dudes 25 years old getting disability and retiring early. This is what happened. They sitting around and whatnot, and this is what they do with it. So while we're talking about illegals, we need to tighten up on that military thing too.
You know, and it was crazy because we was having a debate about reparations, and he let it slip out. Because I was basically telling him where foundational Black Americans stand and why Kamala lost and all that. And he swears up and down that she should have won because this is what he said, Jason. He said it's better for your opponent to be in the back of you instead of in the front of you. Because my stance was, I was like, I'd rather have, you know, the white supremacists in my face with it, like with the racism. I want Donald Trump to go buck wild because he can't pull it back because it's gonna fuck up the money. One thing, because if people start burning shit down, and it's gonna put a halt on the money, it's gonna ruin his legacy, and he doesn't want that. He said he'd rather have his enemies have his in the back of him than rather in the front of him. And I was just so like pushed back from it. I was like, that makes no sense, man.
He would rather have his enemies behind him instead of in front of him.
This the thing that
okay, he's a coon and a bad military strategist.
This the thing that got me. He said, because if they're in the back of you, that means you got to turn around and face them. I'm like, but that's a whole movement you could avoid it if they just in your face with it. Because no matter what happens, you know, you're gonna have to deal with it. It don't matter if they're in the back of you or in the front of you. And I was like, there's no voter base where the politician that's supposed to be for that voter base says they're not going to do nothing for that voter base. He had no answer for it. And then we end up talking about reparations, and he basically let it slip. I don't think he considered it a slip, but he was like, black people need a safeguard when they get the money. I was like, brother, we've been trying to build safeguards for the longest. That shit don't never work. He was like, they want to know what to do with it. I was like, it don't matter what they do with it as long as they get it, because they know it don't take a lot of black
look,
people.
Here's the issue. The issue is that he's a really simple dude who's really easily bought off. He doesn't aspire to much. He didn't make very much in life. Now he's getting a little old military pension and paycheck, so he doesn't have to actually work for a living anymore. So he can sit around and get high and do damn me baboon babble. All damn broke nigga babble, even though he can sit there and do that all day. So you'll just be talking in circles while he's talking stupid, because if he actually had to earn a living, it wouldn't be like that. So he thinks he's kind of checked out of it. So yeah, he can afford to sit up here and do boom babble now.
That's my thing. And like he basically was like, oh, you know, we need a lift all program. We need to lift all the poor people and all the poor whites. And I said, hey, bro, I said, black people off that. We've been tried that. It didn't happen. And it's just like what you said. We ended up just talking in circles. We had a couple points to where we
he'll be the kind of nigga tell you we need to do something for everybody else. He really just means, can you just bring more Filipinos over here for me? But here's the thing, brother. He'll have broke folk in his damn family he ain't doing nothing for.
Yeah.
So I guarantee if you ask him about somebody in his family, you know, you can't help every damn body, nigga, if you don't shut up.
Right. Damn, Jason, that's crazy. I didn't even have to tell you about nigga you just described.
Dude, there's nothing new under the sun, dude. We're here for a reason. There's nothing new under the sun. There's a class of folk out there. There's the civil rights generation that only cares about interracial sexual access and white approval. There's the LGBT that only cares about same-sex access and white approval. The military dudes are a different animal. They're of the same thing. Can then give me my check here, and where the white women at? So there's groups of folk out there. There's nothing new under the sun, y'all.
And I'll land my plane. You know, Jason, I appreciate you. And one more thing. Did you edit and deal with it, nigga? Did you edit that and cut the nigga out?
Did I edit it?
Because I was listening to The Business, I think it was yesterday or the day before. And, you know, that's one of my favorite ones you hit. And, you know, every time you hear that, you know, if anybody knows, if you've been listening to Jason Black for the longest time, you know when he about to hit it. And I'll be waiting for you to hit it. And yesterday I was like, damn, what a nigga at? Like, you know.
Well, I got more than one, but you'll see it. Thank you very much for giving us a call. I got more than one. As a matter of fact, I've got some new sound bites I got to go over. I got some new ones I have to go over now. Yeah, I got a few new ones, so I got to go over those too now, as a matter of fact. All right, let me go ahead and see if I can get Raya up here on Zoom. Let me get Raya on Zoom. Yeah, y'all, them pension pimps, the military dudes out there, if they go to a place like California or Florida or Hawaii, that's it. All they care about from this day forward is interracial sexual access. That is all. Raya, is you trying to put on a plus-size peep show? What are you doing?
No.
Well, baby, y'all, I'm not gonna tell y'all what I saw over here, but she putting on a plus. She look like Patti LaBelle up in here. She got the H cups going. What? That's the first thing I saw. Then at the last second, she tried to cover him up. So I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Looking like Jill Scott.
It just popped up. No, that's why
They just popped up, y'all. She like, by the way, Jason, keep my number. Keep my number, Jason. She doing it on the slide, y'all. She like, did I miss the side chick application?
It's almost 10 o'clock. I'm getting ready. I'm ready for bed.
Ma'am, you was already, you just like you got redressed. So y'all, she let the nigga take a peek for a minute. So I'm like, okay, she want to know is the side chick application for 2025. I don't know. After this, I might have to open the books. I might have to open the books for a limited amount of time. It's tax season. All right, what's on your mind, Rhea?
Okay, so I was just going to say that basically, as far as the immigration, like I didn't, of course, vote for either Trump or Kamala, but the immigration was something that I was definitely wanting to have some kind of hold done. They needed to get a hold of that. And so it has happened like we wanted. So seeing so many of us Black Americans be against the deportation has been wild, because you hear people talking about the kids or acting like they feel sorry for them, or they're going to look at every last one of them like they're illegal, and they might not be illegal. And it's like, it was okay for us, our children, our Black men to be looked at as thieves or gang members or stop and frisk, and nobody wanted to stand up for us. But now that they might be someone that is legal might be looked at as an illegal by, just random people on the streets, or, whatever. People act like that's a big deal, and then acting like, oh, well, if ICE goes into school and takes the babies, then, that's wrong. But nobody cared. I didn't see no Hispanics, Haitians, whoever that's here illegal. Like, who stood up for like Tamir Rice and things like that? Nobody cares.
Okay, well, let me go further than that with it. You want to talk about first of all, you're illegal, so it's an insult that shocks the conscience to talk about what you have a right to when you by definition are a trespasser. That's the first thing, is that this is a silly conversation to even begin with somebody in that regard. However, even if you were inclined to indulge them, by the way, they've been grabbing Black children out of elementary school, putting handcuffs on them.
Exactly.
We've been talking about that for 20 damn years. They grab Black children out of elementary school and throw handcuffs on them. And that's been okay. That's been all right. That's been legit. And nobody's saying anything. When there was the war on drugs, if you possess drugs, here, hold this 10 years. As soon as it's time to kick off the opioid epidemic and throw white folk in mass incarceration, oh, it's a sickness now. We're not throwing folk in jail for pills. And all you crack folk, we're still gonna get you. So it's all kinds of things that every time you turn around, the rules are always different for us. You've always overlooked that for us. It's never a crisis when you're targeting us, and you're always targeting us. It's never a crisis. So all of a sudden, folks start, the same white media that isn't doing back-to-back stories about the Black children getting arrested, the school-to-prison pipeline, I'll be damned, y'all ain't never talked about it like you doing this. But then again, ma'am, who at Disney, Bob Iger and the rest of them and whatnot, man, they want their illegals. That's a whole thing in California. The illegal thing is a whole economic strata and market. Y'all don't understand. In California, specifically Southern California, in New York, specifically upstate New York, now in New York City proper, but in upstate New York, that is an economic thing. I mean, it's a whole thing that the rich folk there expect. I didn't say they depend on it. I said they expect it. They expect to have landscapers. They expect to have carpenters. They expect to have nannies. They expect to have all the housekeeping, maids. They expect that. And I'm not talking about no small numbers. They expect to have that. So there's a reason why you see this kind of crazy talk happening from your news agencies. Those are them folk. Rachel Maddow, 25, she was making 30 million, now it's 25 million a year. The rest of them folk is CBS, ABC, NBC. Those are the people we talking about. When they leave them studios, they go to Westchester, Manchester, Eastchester, all the Chesters. They go all these places, and they go their enclaves and their suburbs, and that's what they expect. They go say hello to Manuela or whoever the hell it is and tell them she need to be back here Wednesday to come do the drapes. That's literally what occurs. So yeah, when they get in the studio, your issue is not an issue. because they were targeting you. For these other folk, we need the rest of you to get concerned, and it's really a psychological thing. The reason why crap music on the radio can still become a hit is because psychologically it's called saturation. If we saturate you with something long enough that eventually psychologically you will get accustomed to it and you will find something in it that you will gravitate to, even if it's only for a short amount of time, which is why most music today is like fast food. It's very quickly consumed and you move on to the next one. They just want to be able to do it enough so that you catch on to it, and that's it. That's why they saturate you with it so you don't have a chance to miss it and you get acclimated to it. By constantly trying to pull on your heartstrings about illegals, it's intended to do the same thing there too. Well, what about the babies? What about the kids? They could come after you next, and they just do this steady drumbeat of it intended to wear you down the same way. The problem is it ain't working. But that's not going to stop them from continuing to do it. I'm just letting y'all know that's what the goal is. That's what the strategy is.
Right. And even up here, because I live in the Dakotas, so like we've had like the Tren de Agua, we've had them up here jackpotting the ATM machines. There was one that was in the women's restroom over in Minnesota at Detroit Lakes. He was in the women's restroom video recording the women. I mean, like there's been a lot that has gone on. And I seen this one video of this girl, and she was saying like people need to stand on business. All of y'all that want us deported, don't eat our tacos, don't eat at our restaurants, don't do this, don't do that. And I was thinking to myself when she said that, I was like, for one, we know how to cook and we can make our own tacos and all of that. But I was thinking about, if you saying that we don't need to basically support your businesses, then who's going to support them? Because if you think about it, when is the last time that you've been in a Mexican restaurant? As you said, you see, I'm a plus size gal, so I done been to some Mexican restaurants. When is the last time that you've been in a Mexican restaurant and you've seen other Mexican people there? At least if you go to our soul food restaurants, you're going to see some more Black people in there supporting their people. If you go to like the Fogo restaurant, the Brazilian, you're going to see some Brazilian people in there. Vietnamese restaurants, they're going to have their people in there. But I was thinking, I can't think of the last time I seen somebody that was Mexican actually in their restaurants, So... And it's I'm all
well. First of all, that's a terrible business slogan. Is don't eat here. I mean that's an awful business slogan just right off the bat. So somebody over there needs to rethink that one. Make a different argument than that one, because you don't want it to be like what it was with the Asians, where that just kind of sticks around for a little bit. The pandemic's over and folks are still not showing up. You don't want that to be a thing. But the other thing is, I'm like, this is what I mean by this is a silly conversation, because like that's it. That's all you got. That's right. That is your contribution. Hey, you won't be able to come to our restaurants. Wait a minute. We're doing you the favor by allowing you to even be there. You're not doing us a favor by making tacos. We did you the favor by not packing up you in the taco stand and rolling you back across the border. We're doing you a favor. Folks, I taught you all this almost 2 decades ago. She's trying to take us as a hostage. What did Jason tell you is the first rule of hostage taking? Point the gun at the hostage and not yourself. Damn! She's pointing the gun at herself and saying she's going to take us hostage. And I'm like, okay, bad strategy, people, bad strategy.
But yeah, that's all I had to say. I'm definitely for the deportation, and yeah, I'll land my plane there.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, y'all. Somebody in the chat room said H cup. Those were at least G cups. At least G. She said, I'm going to keep it G. Those were at least G cups. So, dark skin, G cups, lights low. She wanted to let me know. She said, Jason, is just in case you need a third. It's 2025. The winter storm just came through. I'm available. Y'all saw how she dropped the location. I'm in the Dakotas. Y'all thought I was kidding. She dropped the location too, and I'm in the Dakotas. I know you travel a lot, Jason, and I do. Just so you know, I'm in the Dakotas. It's waiting for you. She said, let me put on the show for you. It's waiting for you in the Dakotas. All right, let me go see if I can get Thomas up here on Zoom. It's hard being me, y'all. It's hard. It is difficult to do what I do, but somehow I persevere. Somehow I do. But it's hard being me. You don't understand. It's one of the hardest, it's the toughest job you'll ever love. Toughest job you'll ever love. Okay, I got Thomas here on Zoom. Thomas, I just need you to turn your microphone and your camera on for me. Give you 5 seconds to go ahead and do that, and then we got to move on. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, we got Thomas here on Zoom. What's on your mind, Thomas?
Okay, Thomas from Atmore. I'm a little nervous, but I just like to say I'm 62 years old. I've been watching the illegal alien invasion for 45 years. And the black politicians and the Democrats have been their biggest supporters. They have not done anything for us, but they bend over backwards for illegal aliens. And I've been angry about this since I was in junior high school. I remember when I was in junior high school, they made it so that they had to educate illegal alien children in California. And I could not wrap my mind around that. I couldn't understand why they give all these benefits to illegal aliens. And they break all the rules for illegal aliens. They won't enforce immigration laws. I've noticed that for the last 45 years. And I've been just very angry. I'm happy that finally, after 4.5 decades, Trump is starting to deport the illegals. And
well, let me explain to you what happened there, though. All right. What had occurred for the previous century, and Dr. Claude Anderson and other people have alluded about this before, what occurred for the previous century was that we were the topic of discussion. And in a lot of cases, this was taken to the Supreme Court. So we were the court cases that had occurred for the previous century. Then we get to the 1960s and the so-called Civil Rights Acts, which, by the way, came coupled with immigration laws. And we saw how that kept rolling. What we didn't realize was that these people had been continuously pushing court cases. What? In the interim. So while we were trying to get the politicians to do right with these newfound powers and ability to vote, and the civil rights generation saying, well, I got shoes and a cell phone and interracial sexual access, I'm cool. These other folks have been consistently, perpetually on a campaign of lawsuits and everything else. That's how you end up with the departments of education recognizing the children simply being present and extending to them the resources simply by their, quote, residency. Now, remember, there already is a legal recognition of it, even if it doesn't exist in written law necessarily or formal written law. Remember, if you live in a house for 30 days, you are not a guest, you are a resident. Mm-hmm. So you see, even if it doesn't matter if it's your kids, your girlfriend, whatever. If you watch Cops, whatever, you can't, if she's been there for 30 days or more in most states, you can't just jump up and tell her, get out. You caught her in bed with another dude. And I mean, they swinging from the chandeliers and his legs and feet flying. You can't just grab her stuff and throw her out. The police will let you know, sir, how long has she been here? We've been living together. They're going to trick you with it. Do you two been living together? Yeah. How long? 2 years. That's it. Mm. You don't realize, because that's first thing you think he's just making small talk. No, he's not. He is establishing what he will be allowed to do. And once he says, y'all two live together, yeah, how long you been living together? He gets that out the way real quick. If it's been more than 30 days, she's a resident. Does she receive mail there? She's a resident. You cannot kick her out. Her name isn't on the lease. Doesn't matter. You just confirmed to us that she lives here. She has rights. She is a tenant. In the law, she doesn't have to be on the lease. She doesn't have to be written down in order to be a tenant. She's a legal resident. She didn't trespass. You let her in. So you have to deal with this resident. Well, now they expanded that. So now it's not just under your roof. It is now in the county or the city you live in. That no matter the rationale they're given, which is why people hate lawyers, no matter how they got into New York, well, now they reside here. The bus just showed up this afternoon, nigga. You can turn that damn thing around. Oh, no. Okay, now that's how you know it's crooked. So for the other one, you got to be there 30 days. He just showed up. We can just turn this bus around. No. We can just put them on the plane. No. So they're using a rationale, and now they've expanded it. So you just all learned tonight how that works. And it's been extended to the school system. I already explained how they knuckle the teachers under and get them to roll with the program. Hey, we might need to cut your job if we don't have enough kids. So, head count is all we worried about. You better be happy. Otherwise, we're going to cut. We get paid per head, so they got to cut that budget. And then you going to go. And that's literally what they do. So just be aware that that's the rationale. So yeah, you've been upset about it. All these have been established by courts. So there's that Ninth Circuit out there in California, which gives the rest of the damn country hell because they'll just say yes to any damn thing out there in California. And when you talk about docket shopping, that's a big place they do docket shopping. So if they want to get some really crazy, wacky stuff through, they go out there to California and file a federal lawsuit out there. And then next thing you know, now we got precedent that other courts have to overturn or the Supreme Court got to kick back. So I went to the explanation to catch you all up on since the civil rights movement, the rest of these folk have been steadily pushing things in the court system, steadily establishing new precedents till you look up 50 years later. It's like, how the hell all these illegals, the kids, they got, what do you mean rights? Who the hell said this is okay? They started it 5 decades ago, inch by inch, one concession after another until you end up with this big ass laundry list and the creature from Jekyll Island.
Yeah, I remember. I was just 14 years old when they made it so they had to educate illegals in California. And one thing I noticed, I don't hear anybody speak about the damage that illegal immigration does to Americans. All I hear is these sob stories about the illegals. Nobody talks about what they do to Americans, especially Black Americans in Chicago. And I mean, they've driven Black Americans out of Los Angeles and California. We used to be the majority out there, and not anymore.
No, because the people who are pushing it, A, don't like Black folk, and B, they're the ones who are bringing them here. So they're not concerned about what happens to you, literally. Please understand, Joe Biden is Jim Crow Joe Biden. He didn't give a damn. As far as he's concerned, Jim Crow Joe Biden was there to prepare America for the South Africa dynamic. White people being the numerical minority, and how will they rule this non-white majority? That was what he was there to help soften up for. So the real thing is get as many of, and ironically enough, he wants to get as many of them there as he can while he's still in charge of it, or at least while he was, for the purposes of overwhelming our numbers, because we're the only group that tends to go counterculture against folks. So let's go ahead and see if we can counter them real quick. And that's what the goal was there. So harming you isn't a side effect. Harming you is the goal.
That's the objective.
This is ethnic cleansing American style. I've been telling people, no, this is not a joke. Harming you is not some unintended consequence. As far as they're concerned, if you're not being harmed, it ain't doing the job. These are the same folk who take a look at everything in society that victimizes us. From the court system to police to the environment to whatever, it's always engineered. And yeah, that's not, you can't have this many things disproportionately targeting you and it's accidental. Ain't enough bad luck in the damn universe that makes that keep happening to only the same group of people, no matter where they are. That's engineered. I'll let you have the last word.
Well, one thing I'd like to say is I'm not a Republican, but please, Black people, learn about the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is no friend of Black people. And Black people have been lining up to vote for them for decades. It's got to stop. Please learn about the Democrat Party.
Good advice. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Be aware of all of them, but especially the folks you think are your friends. They are not. When we come to them with our agenda and then they start talking to us about what can't get done, okay, the immediate response, yeah, now I can't support you then, bye. Y'all gonna do it, watch us. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, folks, big wake-up calls flying. Whole bunch of folk getting a wake-up call. Whole bunch of folks getting the paperwork checked. Whole bunch of folks seeing things they never thought they'd see. And the biggest thing of all they never thought they'd see is us just sitting back and saying, yeah, we're going to sit back and watch it burn. We just gonna sit back and watch it burn. We don't really have a problem. In the words of Malcolm X, I don't cry when chickens come home to roost. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of happy when chickens come home to roost. And whether you like it or not, you gonna believe fat meat is greasy this week. You gonna believe it. And by the way, you got 4 more years to run the gauntlet.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
Yes, you are.
You feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
Okay, you can thank Biden and Obama back in Port-au-Prince. Damn! And you gonna have plenty company. So far as we can tell, you about to have plenty company. So, yeah. Enjoy the ride. You're gonna have plenty of company. By the way, y'all, a bunch of smart mouth folk who were telling us about what wasn't going to happen and what they weren't afraid of. We were saying, by the way, yeah, deportations. Yeah, there were a whole bunch of slick at the mouth folk talking about, I ain't going nowhere. Y'all can't send me nowhere. It's quiet as hell out there now, ain't it?
And deal with it, nigga.
Ain't that amazing? It's quiet as the son of a gun out there now, ain't it? Oh, you ain't hearing nearly the amount of noise and back talk you were hearing before. I'll be damned. Well, don't worry, folks. This was just the first 4 days. Buckle in for the next 4 years. And then we're going to come check back on y'all in 4 years and see if you're ready to make some changes to the way you've been dealing with us. We're going to see if you're ready to make some changes to the way you've been dealing with us. Or we can do this all over again in 2028 with President J.D. Vance or President Ron DeSantis or whoever, whatever the hell psycho they grab next. We can just do this again in 2028. I'm sure that Kash Patel won't have arrested all of you by then. I'm sure there'll still be a few of you he hasn't indicted by then. 1 or 2 of you at least. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. I want to thank everyone who's contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo, FBA Queen, giving out some memberships here tonight. We appreciate that. Muffy, giving kissy faces in the chat room. Okay, y'all. They are giving the fellas, they're giving the black man some play out here. FBA Queen, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Rhea, Michelle, Keenan, thank you very much for your support as well. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend, holidays, some days in between. Click that red subscribe button. Click that notification bell. Join us each and every time that we are here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, see our groundbreaking, best-selling documentary work, blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program, live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, Black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.